Hello, everybody. We're back here for our third event of the night with the Evolution Racing League. Here's we have the RSR Cup Series from Daytona International Speedway for their Clash. And remember, these are the guys that performed well all throughout last season. They are in the Clash. They're ready to go to battle here at the Daytona International Speedway here tonight. And remember, RSR Cup Series is always brought to you by Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. So we got one heck of a show here for you guys. This will be our 25 lap Clash event here, and this race will be very, very special because we got prizes award to the Clash winners, and we'll have to see what that is real quick because I completely forgot, and that's my bad. But sometimes my brain goes a little wild and I lose train of thought. But Brandon, what's your thoughts so far? What are we going to see different from the ARCA series that we just see with these Cup cars? Because these are a whole different beast.
Well, you're going to see a lot bigger runs, and guys having to figure out what to do with those runs. And you're going to see the inverse of what you saw with the ARCA cars, where you couldn't do a lot of pushing with the ARCA cars. You're going to see nothing but pushing with these Cup cars. You can really lean on somebody's bumper and shove them almost all the way around the track. If the guy you're pushing is able to hold a steady line, you don't really ever have to leave their bumper until your temp starts flashing red at you.
Yeah, it's these things right here are definitely a little more temperamental when it comes to that overheating issue, but it looks like qualifying has already come to an end here for the Clash, and it looks like Kevin Giadricic will be our Sheffield Graphics pole winner. And I believe we may be able to get our starting lineup here as we're still getting our software loaded in, as it's a little bit of time crunch here for us as it takes a little bit of time here. And there it is. Our starting grid is up. Kevin Giadricic will lead us to the green with Andrew Little starting alongside. Bob Fitzpatrick will start in the third position. Nolan Potter will be fourth. Fifth will go to Ryan Bean. Travis Edler will start in the sixth position. Seventh is Michael Sheffield. Eighth is Matthew Rush. Ninth will go to Dustin Stallings. 10th is Curtis Preston. 11th will be Craig A. Burns. 12th will be Randy Cornwell. 13th, GT Irizarry. 14th, Zach Strittenthal. 15th will go to Alex Rudolph. 16th will go to Ryan Ezel. 17th, Kevin Sabilla. 18th there is Michael Haru. And rounding out your field in the 19th position is Adam Buzzio. As we got a 19 car field here for the Clash, 25 laps to do battle. But we have our Sheffield Graphics pole winner of Kevin Giadricic. Let's see if I can find good old Kevin up here, the giant list of names we have here, so we can get a talk in with Kevin to see what his thoughts are on winning the pole here tonight for this race. And we do have him. Okay, here we go. Kevin Giadricic. Moving him on down. And he'll get a chat in here with Brandon Colley about his pole here tonight for the Clash.
Hey, Kevin, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got your ears on.
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations on winning the pole for this thing. Well, we know it's not a points-paying race or even a qualifying race. This is strictly for the thrill of winning and surprises here. How aggressive do you think guys are going to be knowing that there's really not much on the line here other than bragging rights?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too aggressive, to be honest. I mean, I may be wrong, but like you said, there's really nothing to win except bragging rights, and all these guys are here for a reason. It's either because they won a race or got pole last season or something like that. So I think everybody here is going to keep their cool and stay pretty calm.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to it. It was a wild 2 duels for the ARC Evolution series that we just watched, and hopefully not too many wrecks like we saw there. A little bit unfortunate contact. You guys keep it pretty clean, and like you said, cream of the crop here. So I wouldn't expect anything less from you guys, and really looking forward to it. So we'll let you get back down there, get ready to go, and wish you the best of luck, man. Hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there you heard it from Brandon Colley himself, talking to Kevin Giadricic, our pole winner here tonight, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics, as we head for our pace laps to start tonight's RSR Cup Series Clash racing here at the Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing. So it's going to be fun here to see how these Cup cars can do. This will give us a little lead up going into the dual races. And I'm not sure, I said prizes for the race tonight. I can't find anything. I looked through all the details. So if I'm wrong, someone correct me, please. But I couldn't find anything. So this, like you said, is for bragging rights. And these guys are here for a reason too. You got to remember, these are the guys, like you said, who either want to pole or race to get into this thing. So that's a big deal.
In the case of our 9th place starting position right now, Curtis Preston, not just a racer, a pole, but the championship. So he's definitely here for a reason.
That he is. Past champion Curtis Preston starting in the 10th position. The pace car is going to pull in this time. Kevin Giadricic is going to lead us to the green flag here to kick off tonight's event for the RSR Cup Series at the Daytona International Speedway for their clash as they head down the front straightaway towards turn 1. Kevin Giadricic with the nice start there. Pull a little bit ahead with Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. or Bob Fitzpatrick there on the bottom lane with him.
Yeah, I was looking at it while they were pacing around, Zach. That's a pretty slick scheme from the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. So I'm hoping he can do well, keep that thing pretty clean, and maybe get a talk in with him, see what that's all about.
That it is. Very, very slick scheme, that's for sure. As they head down the back straightaway, side by side by side. We see that the ARCA cars, the lanes be pretty even when it comes to that top and that bottom. I'm sure the guys that are sitting around waiting for the duels after this race, they're probably trying to take some notes and say, where does it look best? Because this will lead to definite pace for them.
And as opposed to like the ARCA cars, it seems like it's a lot more number dependent. Being able to run that high line, you need a solid group to really be able to make a solid charge to get up towards the front. You can still get a run with just a handful of cars, but it's just not quite enough to outpace that line with the stronger draft on the inside.
And it is outside lane being led by Andrew Little right now in that 68 machine as he started on that front row. Has dropped back a few spots, but that outside lane is starting to gain some momentum. And look at this run they're going to have going down the front straightaway. It's going to be very nice with that 34 Nolan Potter there pushing Andrew Little.
The speed difference, you see them slowly gaining. That's only about 2 mile an hour difference between the 68 and then the 3 and the 9 on the inside lane. So it's not too much, but just a couple mile an hour to track this big, it makes a world of difference.
Couple mile an hour, that it is, but it's like you said, it's like they're stuck to a pole when you go by with about a couple mile an hour more. It's pretty crazy. Look at this, 3 wide for the lead. Man, oh man. Whew. Kevin Giadricic's getting put in the sucker hole, but then, that's going to leave Nolan Potter out to dry as Andrew Little jumped down to the middle in front of Kevin Giadricic. Now Nolan Potter up top by himself with Bob Fitzpatrick on the bottom, leading the way on the bottom.
It was a really good move by the 3. He just saw just enough of a gap. It's pretty early, and maybe Kevin thought, okay, well, I left this door open, but it's pretty early. Maybe he's not going to go for it. Well, it's a little bit of a mistake there, but he didn't lose too many positions. Like you said, the biggest loser there was looked like 34, I believe it was. Just kind of falling back pretty quickly now, all the way back to the 14th position.
This on board from Andrew Lewis. He gets the nice run down the back straight, pushed by Kevin Giadricic. I tell you what, this is a great race here so far, and we also got to say Ryan Bean. He was our Talladega winner in our playoffs last season. So he was the race we did for them, the restricted play race that we got to see for these guys, and he was very strong in that 25. And tell you what, he's right there in the bottom lane pushing Bob Fitzpatrick. So let's see if he can continue his restricted plate success here.
Yeah, he's shown in the past that he absolutely knows how to get it done here, and it normally seems to be there's certain guys that consistently run well at the plate tracks. They just have a good understanding of how the race needs to run, where they need to position themselves, and that's just due to a lot of experiences. Kevin Giadricic looking to go 3 wide now for the lead.
Wow, early action here. Kevin Giadricic putting Andrew Little out to dry. He's going to get the big run now with the help of Travis Everett on the top lane. And I tell you what, that's going to push Andrew Little all the way back. But the outside, this is the thing on these Cup cars. There's so much energy built up in these. These things get mega runs, and they're definitely a lot easier to push each other. So you're going to see these mega runs as Kevin Giadricic pulls ahead here early in this Cup Series clash. But I just posted out there in all the chats too, by the way, a live timing and scoring link. So you can go and check out the live timing and scoring for the race here this evening. It's really helpful for paying attention to your favorite driver's position.
Yeah, a little bit of discussion on the radio between the 3 and the 25 about pushing, and Ryan saying he's not just that comfortable pushing. He feels like he's pretty terrible at it, and doesn't want to cause an issue, and I completely understand where he's coming from with that because I am a horrible pusher. it's it's really deceiving because you don't quite get that good of a depth perception on the car in front of you. And we talked about the dual races, the limited visibility you have. It's hard to want to be right up on that bumper of the guy in front of you and limit your vision even further if you're just not quite comfortable being able to gauge where the track is when you can't see it. It's pretty scary. It's like driving blind.
It really is like following blind. You really just can't see nothing ahead of you. And it, like you said, Brandon, some people aren't as confident with pushing as they are leading. And those are two different roles when you come to these restrictor plate tracks. And it's something you have to really master of both, because leading, your goal that whole time is try not to build too big a gap on the guy that's helping you get pushed. You always want to try to help them just a little bit by staying steadier too. So you want to hold that nice smooth line. If you're moving around, like you said, you can't see nothing ahead of you. So usually you tend to be, when you follow a person, start moving around. That causes issues. So the smoother line you can be as a leader, the easier it is to push. And then that gives the guy behind the chance to really be confident to push you. And then when it comes down to pushing, you just got to be very precise and know what you're doing at all times is the correct move, because one little push wrong, we see what happens in the ARCA race, even though those cars are a lot more detrimental when it comes to pushing, but it can still happen in these cup cars if you're off center. You need to be placed well on the back bumper or you will see someone go around.
Oh, absolutely. These the noses of these cars are not quite wedge shaped like the ARCA cars, but they're definitely not flat. They are they still got a bump right dead center of the bumper, and if you get a little off center on the bumper, the guy you're trying to push, it is extremely easy just to hook them around. And it's kind of deceiving because you can come up and hit somebody and them not wiggle a little bit with just another inch or so to either direction, and just a little tap will have them wheeling it for dear life, trying not to spin out.
Here we are highlighted on Matthew Rush in the 11 car. He's in the 11th position, or in the 5th position, sorry, right now in the 11, on that outside lane, pushing Travis Everett. And remember, he was one of our championship 4 with Travis Everett, Curtis Preston, and GT Rosario. So those guys coming into 2021 saying, hey, I had a shot at championship last season, but I want to have another shot at this thing as we head off into 2021.
Yeah, and we talked about, it's really just for bragging rights, but it's also momentum. Knowing that the first points paying race that you're going to is the same track that you just won, it gives you a lot of confidence. And plate tracks, you need a lot of confidence to be able to say, okay, I've got this big run. I can get up here to the front. I can make this move. I'm not worried about where I'm running currently. No, and whenever I decide to, I can get to the front.
It's all about confidence, definitely in the plate track, man. Confidence can be a huge factor, but it also can lead to your demise. Too much confidence, you can make a little bit of a boneheaded move here very easily. And it takes someone that really, it comes down to knowing when to pick and choose your moments. Patience is the key, but also you got to know when you have to go, because if you give up an opportunity, you might not get that opportunity again.
Yeah, there's always a sense of urgency when you're in these plate races. Doesn't matter really where you're running. And the longer the race goes on, the more you kind of have to hold that sense of urgency at bay. As we're racing, everybody's pretty much going the same speed. Nobody's really been able to separate. And you're like, okay, I can get to the lead. As a racer, you want to be leading the race at all times. But you got to say, okay, is it really necessarily the best thing for me to go up here right now and try to lead this race? What am I gaining by it? You just got to put it in the back and ride it out. Wait until your moment, just like you said, and take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you. And sometimes there just aren't any, and you kind of get stuck.
Never good to get stuck here at Daytona. Like you said, you can get stuck in a spot that you just don't want to be in, and you can't get out of it. Especially if you're in the bottom lane. The outside lane, you have a little more options, in my opinion, to bail out if you want to bail out, so to say. But that bottom lane, you got a car to your outside, and you kind of got the apron to the left, and you kind of like, well, kind of stuck here, and you're just kind of riding. So being in like that 4th, 5th, 6th position on the bottom lane can be kind of tricky.
Absolutely, because you don't have a lot of visibility out your right side to know if you've got a hole that you can maybe shoot 3 wide and try to take advantage. So all you know is that there's a car out there somewhere, and you've just got to keep it as clean and as smooth against the apron as possible to avoid any kind of contact. And because there's all these cars out there with the nature of plate racing, pack racing like this in multiple lines, there's not a lot of options. So you just ride around for a good number of laps, just kind of hanging out. That's really all you're doing, just hoping something happens that you can make a move later on and not get in any trouble.
I'll tell you what, early I've seen is this 9 and this 3 work well. Oh, the 9 gets off the bottom just a little bit. That lets the 3 get barely to the inside. The 9's going to make the good decision, though, to slide up top and not cause anything. Oh, and Randy Cornwell in the back in the middle lane almost had a bit of a issue there. As you see, look at GT Irizarry in the 14 working his array around the top, trying to make something happen there behind teammate Curtis Preston. It's a wild west out here at Daytona, man. You gotta have teammates, but at the same time, you can't be too much worried about your teammates.
Yeah, you can put yourself in a really bad position just solely trying to get hooked up with teammates, and especially at a track like Daytona where it's a little bit narrower than Talladega, where you don't quite have the option a lot of times to run that high third lane right up against the wall. So you can get boxed in, even though there's room up there. It's really nerve-wracking because of how narrow it is. You've got to have a lot of trust in your competitors that they're going to be able to hold that middle groove and not come up and cause any problems for you, put you in a wall, and potentially cause a really big wreck. So a lot of patience, but you've got to learn, okay, I can't just work with these teammates. There's this guy here that's right behind me, right in front of me. He's looking to make a move. I think I can go with him. I got to go.
Kevin Giadrich makes another power move to get back to the lead there from the help of Travis Everett. And the big thing I'm seeing so far is it doesn't seem like too many people having to cool off. I'm wondering, are these temps staying better than I expect? I mean, it's been a little bit since I've done personally a plate race with the Cup car, so I'm trying to think back to how fast you could cool these things down and how quick they heat up. I remember them being pretty quickly to heat up, but these guys are doing a good job of managing that right now with the gaps they have in between each other.
Yeah, I've only heard somebody mention that they've been overheating once, and it was the 3 above Fitzpatrick. Ooh, it was a little contact with Michael Sheffield.
Ooh. Sheffield does a great job to hold on to that in the 1. He's going to drop back a good bit, but if he can just catch on here, I don't know if he'll be able to catch on and latch onto that drag. He may be the lone man out here with 10 to go. As you never know, it might help him if they get in a big wreck, but he's definitely going to be riding around alone for a bit right here. Oh, and they're wrecking. The 3 above Fitzpatrick goes around the 59 of Travis Everett. Multiple cars. There is the first or Nissan Central caution with 10 laps to go, and that all started right at the front of the pack. I tell you what, I think Sheffield, he's probably pretty lucky there that he got knocked out.
Yeah, he might be pretty happy about that one now. It might have been a godsend for him there. A little blessing in disguise. He's going to have a little bit of damage from his contact, but not nearly as bad as some of these other guys.
Yeah, definitely not. You see Curtis Preston champion from last year, since spinning. You also have the 33, the 18, Randy Cornwell. Multiple cars involved in this. Actually, I believe that's the 93, sorry, of Dustin Stallings. And yeah, multiple cars involved. And it kind of just all started right there at the very front of the pack with the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick leading that outside lane. And they had Travis, I believe that was actually, was it Ryan B? Or no, sorry, that was Travis Everett, I believe, in the 59.
It's one of the things we talked about, being a little bit off center. Travis Everett just moved a little bit before he gave the 3 a bump, and it got him out of shape. And Bob did a really good job not hitting the inside wall, but just a slight overcorrection. It's really hard to keep these things going straight once they break out, and came back across the field and took out a couple people. But that's just part of the game when you're at these plate tracks, man.
Yeah, he could have totally knocked the outside wall down right there and ruined his race and it'd been over with. But personally, with the damage he's got sustained, he could be able to come back and fix that up. So we'll have to see how that all works out. Here is a few guys hitting pit road. Looks like Matthew Rush, Ryan Bean, GT Irizarry all staying out. And they're from Craig A. Burns back. They start to pit. Kevin Sabilla staying out. Michael Sheffield also staying out. And I believe Curtis Preston also staying out. I think Curtis Preston, he spun around and all that stuff. But he did not take really any damage. The 29 definitely Curtis Preston. He just went for like a spin cycle, and he got her back going.
Go back and look and see if what the nature of his spin was. If he just got a little bit of a bump while he was checking out. But yeah, it's remarkably clean for any type of being involved in any type of incident at a plate track. I've only seen that a couple times before where somebody's been very fortunate not getting any damage in a situation like that. And you may be thinking that for, ooh, yeah, just a little bit of contact on the right rear, but it didn't even really buckle it or anything. Huge bit of luck for that 29 car.
Hashtag Larry Yingling. Oh,
Yeah.
8 to go here in duel. Oh, not duel. I'm just used to saying duels now, guys. These my brain Daytona. I'm telling you, it gets me all shook up. But we're here in the clash with the RSR Cup Series, with 8 laps to go, and it's gonna be wild all the way down to the end. And don't forget, coming up right after this, we have duel number 1 starting at 9:50 Eastern. So that'll be a good one to see kick off too. So.
Just past our halfway point of the evening for our broadcasts. Two down or 2.5 down, 2.5 to go, and a lot of exciting racing here from Daytona. Every race just seems to outdo the other. So I don't even know what's going to go on by the time we get to the end of the second duel.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. I mean, we also got a lot of new names, in the Cup Series too. So that's cool to see. You got some new drivers out there that are gonna be racing, and trying their hands out in the Cup Series.
And it's an even better experience for some of the guys that were new to the series, haven't spent a lot of time racing with these guys, and essentially, practice races are what the duels are. I know they set your running order for the season opener, but you've really got to approach it as a learning experience. And we've seen from the previous duel races with the Arc Evolution series that a lot of guys took that approach, and we'll see next week how that pays off for everybody involved.
Well, we're getting back double filed up here for going to be coming to 6 to go this next time by. Should be one heck of a show here down to the very end. I mean, these Cup cars, personally, I mean, nothing against the Arc car drafting, but a lot more stuff happens with these Cup cars. The energy you build up and the runs you get are just ridiculous, to put it quite frank.
It really is. It was something I was going to touch on that, with the way these cars get a lot of momentum and they draft so well, when you get a run, you really have to commit to what you're doing, and not second guess yourself. And you've got to kind of plan it out beforehand. You can't just go by the seat of your pants, or sometimes it's going to end up with a junked race car. And right before we go back green here, I want to point out the 25 of Ryan Bean starting on the outside in the front row there. He's got a lot of nose damage, and I would be expecting to see him falling back before too long. Guys are going to kind of leave him out to dry.
Yeah, he does have a good bit there, but I mean, we've seen Fitzpatrick Senior there in the ARCA race having a lot of damage and start making it work. Let's see the Cup car out where the pace car's off, and the green flag is back in the air with Matthew Rush leading us to green side by side with Ryan Bean. GT Rosario already up to the 3rd position from his 13th starting spot. He's moved himself way on up the field.
Well, while GT's pushing the 11, I just got to point out, GT, why are you going to change your number?
Did he?
I believe so. He was the 4 car last year, right?
I believe so. They're wrecking behind. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Craig A. Burns. Now, there goes the caution. Yeah, they kept Zach Strittenthal involved. I believe that was also Dustin Stallings involved there after that. But it all started with the around 12 of Craig A. Burns with Bob Fitzpatrick. Or no, sorry, it was actually. Looks like it actually started around Kevin Sabilla and Curtis Preston and Andrew Little. A checkout with Randy Cornwell. And, oh, yeah, the 9 of Kevin Jadrosich involved. Pole setter, he gets the nose knocked off. And, yeah, that's our second or Nissan Central caution here. And that was the freaky fast replay. And there you see, look at this, the 12. Trying to hang on to it. Craig Burns trying. And then, from there, just can't really do nothing from there. So, yeah, some heavy collision for a few of these guys.
And looking at it, Zach, I think that was just a checkup due to a misunderstanding with the amount of space that somebody had. Because it looked like the 78 of Kevin Sabilla, he saw a car chopping down in front of him and thought maybe it was closer than it was, and just tapped the brakes a little bit. And Curtis Preston in the 29 not quite expecting it. And things happen that quickly here. It's something we talked about in the previous 2 broadcasts. Life comes at you fast.
It can, Brandon. It can come at you very quickly, especially here at Daytona. This place is what it does. This is the place where stuff happens and you can't really do nothing about it. But Matthew Rush still hanging on to the lead here under our second caution. GT has already now worked his way to 2nd. Ryan Bean back to 3rd. Andrew Little in the 4th position. Travis Everett back to 5th too after his spin. So that's quite impressive.
Yeah, not a lot of damage on that 59 machine, just a little bit of left rear. Not quite as fortunate as the 29 of Curtis Preston, but I'd much rather have rear damage than nose damage at a plate track. You still keep a lot of speed.
Looks like a few guys here coming down pit road. Craig A. Burns, of course. The guys who got damage and all of that. So Michael Sheffield's going to hit pit road. Dustin Stallings, Zach Strittenthal, and Craig A. Burns all hit pit road here to get their cars worked on. Craig A. Burns actually not too bad damage there. Just the rear end, but that definitely will help still.
And out on Facebook, Michael Preston saying a big shout out to the 29 from Pikeville. So some 29 fans out there in the chat. If you're out there in the chat, let us know who you're rooting for. Be it in this race here, or coming up in one of the duels that we'll be showing here before too long.
Yeah, the champ himself, Curtis Preston, getting a shout out. Yeah, that's a good shout out. That guy knows how to get her done.
Calm down, Larry the Cable Guy. What are you doing?
Look, I ain't from Wisconsin now. I think that's where he's from.
Shots fired.
Hey, but he took. Never mind. Let me go get to it. We'll go down a long spiel, but yeah, we're just throwing our pace laps here for our second caution of the evening, and man, had some good racing and some pretty epic racing, I must say, so far. That was a pretty quick caution right there off the bat, so that happened all pretty quickly straight off the restart. But I'm telling you what, coming down to the very end of this thing, it's going to get super wild.
Yeah, the laps are winding down here. I don't know if this will count as a green-white checkered. I believe we should get the 1 to go this time by. So I think 3 laps to go, possibly. And with this short of a run, you just go, go, go. You're really not going to be lifting very much. I'm absolutely certain we're going to see quite a bit of 3-wide action here for this restart, and we very well might see some green-white checkers.
Daytona can pop up anything at any moment, man. We know how Daytona is, so it's definitely one of the places that you really just never know when stuff's going to happen. And it looks like Matthew Bush is going to take the outside lane here. So, interesting call.
That's
maybe he wants to get Andrew Little. Maybe Andrew Little does have a cleaner nose than Ryan Bean, I guess, is the thing. Even though Ryan Beans looks pretty clean to me.
Well, and that's the thing with even with the nose damage, you still can push very well. You just can't lead.
Sure.
So this may not work out. He's got to hope that he gets a really good restart here. Maybe he's just trying to keep GT behind him, not give GT the opportunity to jump to the outside lane and get pushed around him. That's the only thing I can think of, and it very well might work out, but just due to the nature of the restarts here where everybody goes on green rather than leader's choice, you've really got to nail your restarts.
Yeah, and even Andrew Little has a good bit of damage there on the left front, so don't think it was anything to do with the damage. I think he wanted to be in the outside lane here for this restart, and we'll have 2 to go here when we take the screen.
And I'm trying to look at it closely, Zach. I think out of these front 4, GT has the cleanest car, because it looks like the 11 of Matthew Rush has a little bit of right side damage too.
Oh, he does actually, yeah. So GT pretty clean. Let's see what that can do here as the pace car pulls off here, and we'll have 2 laps to go here at the Daytona International Speedway. Look at GT with a great start to 68, not the greatest start behind leader Matthew Rush. GT going to pull a nose ahead. He's got the help of Ryan Bean now behind him. Travis Everett directly behind his teammate. Wow, it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out here through the final 2 laps at the Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, not quite the best start that the 11 of Matthew Rush was looking for. And then just behind Ryan Bean in that inside lane is 2 teammates of GT, the 59 and 29 of Travis Everett and Curtis Preston.
Side by side as they go down into turn 3. Look at the 11 fighting back on the outside lane. That lane is moving, boys. I tell you what, he might have a good run coming out of here to take the Sheffield Graphics white flag. Here's they come down to the tri-oval. They'll see the white flag in the air for one final lap. Matthew Rush leads us to that. 68 Andrew Little starting to look to the outside. Does he make a move? We'll have to see. Going down into turn 1 side by side. And who's going to come back home the leader?
GT's making some bold moves. Got right up to the body work there, the 11. I thought for sure he was going to have some contact, but a great run out at turn 2, heading off into turn 3 down the backstretch. 25 looking to the inside of the 14 now.
Oh, the 11 jumps down to the bottom. What a move from Matthew Rush. Does this equal the winning move? We'll have to see what type of run GT can give him. The 68 Andrew Little coming strong. Diesel jump to the middle lane. Who's going to hold it here? Oh, the win. Who's going to?
Ryan Bean.
Is Ryan Bean going to win? What a victory. It's all wrecking from there. Ryan Bean, your winner. Travis Everett, second. Bob Fitzpatrick, third. Everything went to shambles. And man, oh man, what a finish right there, guys. Looked like GT decided, you know what, this is for nothing. I'm going to the middle. And he decided to leave Rush out to dry. And from there, the 68, the 14, the 11 all got in contact and sent him around. Is man, Ryan Bean, he's the only guy to win here on Freaky Fast in the Cup Series at a restrictor plate track. He continues to print.
Zach, he beat Travis Everett, who was sliding through the grass by about half a car length to the line.
It was 400.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. What a job by Ryan Bean there to pull off the victory here in the RSR Cup Series Clash Race of 2021. Congrats to him as he's going to go tear up some Daytona grass and get himself set for a duel here right after this. So this is great to go into the duel race. We'll have to see what he thinks about going into that duel race. But congrats to Ryan Bean. We'll take one quick moment here, and we will get everything set up for our post-race interview here with our race winner for the RSR Cup Series Clash.
Crazy finish.
All right, ready? All right, we're back here at the Daytona International Speedway, and we have Ryan Bean, our race winner for RSR Cup Series. So congrats to him on the victory here at the Daytona International Speedway. Hey, Ryan, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, what a victory it was for you, man. That was wild stuff coming down to the end. All of them wrecking right in front of you, and you're able to bring her home and pull off the victory here. And I got to say, this is our second restrictor plate race here with the Cup Series at Freaky Fast with the RSR Cup Series, and you won both of them, man. So how'd you navigate the 25 home to the victory here in the Clash?
First of all, team owner Kevin Ruff spotted me all race. Couldn't have done without him. He told me to pull that move in the backstretch. Had I not pulled that move, GT probably would have won. So that move actually essentially won me the race. So I'll take it. But I'm usually scared of restrictor plate races, but it might be my thing. I don't know. Knock on wood.
Hey, man, well, you're going into a duel race here coming up soon. So how do you feel going into that duel? I believe you're in, let's see, which duel actually are you in? Actually, are you in the second one? Yeah, you're in the second one. Yep. So, yeah, how do you feel about going into duel 2? You think you can use anything you learned from the Clash race here to go into the duel?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be a pusher. I can't do it. I don't know why, but I'm going to lay back a little bit, and then, I think those last 10 laps are going to be where the real showdown happens.
That it will be, man. It should be very exciting, but congrats on the victory here in the Clash. We're excited to have the next 2 races come up, both 40-lap shootouts, so it should be fun to watch, man. Congrats on the victory, though. Anybody want to send a shout-out to for this victory before we let you go get ready for your duel race?
I'm teammates, especially Kevin Ruff again. My spotter. I'm spotting him for duel 1, so hopefully I can give him the same juju. Family and Ryan for putting on the show. Can't wait for the season, and can't wait to rewatch all the broadcasts you guys do this year.
Well, thank you very much, Ryan, buddy, and we will hopefully be talking to you after Duel 2, maybe.
Yes, sir. Later.
All right, later, Brian. All right, that was Ryan Bean there, your winner of the RSR Cup Series Clash. What a finish that was. It was very exciting. And remember, we'll be right back live. I believe it'll be a whole different. Oh, well, this will be. No, we're just going to go to a Be Right Back, I believe, right, Robert? Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure. Yeah, we'll be on a Be Right Back screen as we get loaded into the next session, which will be 9:50 when that session goes up. So we got 5-minute little intermission here once we get loaded in. So it'll probably be about 6 or 7 minutes before we get back totally live where we're talking. But go take you a break right now if you're watching out there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. What a finish that was. Let's get ready for some Daytona duels here because duel number 1's got some special people in it. So does duel number 2. So we got 40 laps, both those events. Should be very fun. And we will be right back. All right, we're back here, everybody, for duel number 1 here for the RSR Cup Series at Daytona. And duel number 1, we got some really good drivers out here, especially. So let's take you through our duel number 1 driver lineup list. So we got GT Irizarry out there, Brock Potter in the 4, Kevin Zabladil, Kevin Sabilla, Kevin Ruff, Anthony Younes, BJ McDonald, Tony Ludi, Travis Everett, David Hall, Craig Burns, Nolan Potter, Kevin Giadricic, Mark Thibodeau, Robert Nestor, Trevor Masadi, Zach Schrittenthal, Michael Martino, Harold Watkins, and John Willett. So we have a good group of drivers out here for duel number 1. Remember, the duels in the Cup Series here are 40 laps, as we are under qualifying right now, seeing who will put themselves in a position to start up front here for the duels, because these 40-lap duels, Brandon, to bring you into this, like 40-lap duels, these are longer, these are a little bit more. I feel like there's going to be some type of thought process definitely going on this, and I don't think you're going to be able to make it all the way on fuel either. Possible.
I think it's going to be pretty close to making it all the way on fuel. Guys that are running at the front, I think they might need to worry about it, but if you can just take it easy right at the back a little bit, make use of that draft, you can save a good bit, and you may just be able to make it to the end. It's been a while since I've run a cup race here at Daytona, so I'm not quite sure on the fuel mileage, but 100% fuel load, definitely going to be close for 40 laps.
Yeah, we'll have to see if anybody can stretch it right now. Watching Harold Watkins on his qualifying lap in that 22 machine right now. He's at top of the board for his first lap he put down. We'll have to see what his second lap is, as he's a 47.85. See what it turns out this time by. Looks like it'll jump down to a 47.77 for Harold Watkins, as he holds onto the top spot so far through qualifying.
Yeah, newcomer Kip Easley sits second on the board right now. Slight improvement over his first lap. Craig Burns, fan favorite, jumping up to the top of the board. It's shuffling around like crazy. Kevin Ruff now jumping up to second, knocking the 22 down to third.
Yeah, we also got the pole winner from the Clash we just got done with. Kevin Giadricic, he's right now in the 6th position. See what he gets coming out of 4 this time by in that 9 machine. So look at John Willett there in the 81. So heading to the line, looks like Kevin Giadricic is going to jump to the top of the board. So maybe he can get 2 poles. That's a 47.68 there. Great lap. Here comes John Willett in the 81 to the line to see what he puts down. Looks like he'll move to 4th on the board with a 47.73. Remember, he was a first-time winner in our Truck Series last night too. So shout out to John Willett right there.
Looking to use maybe some of that momentum transferred over to the Cup cars. We talked about before, they're pretty similar. A little difference in horsepower, but they handle very similarly to each other, especially here at the plate tracks.
So far through the early session of qualifying, Kevin Giadricic here on top of the board, holding on to that pole position. Can he get back-to-back poles? That would be pretty impressive. To do that for 2 sessions here. So right on board with this GT sorry here to see what he kind of puts down. But yeah, 40 laps, a little more time to get stuff done. Gonna be a pretty wild race, I bet.
Well, we should see the aggression level down just a little bit. Seeing it's a bit longer races, nearly twice the distance, gives these guys a lot more time to just kind of ride it out and make some plans for later in the race and not have to worry about going right off the drop of the green flag to start this race. So maybe not as hectic as we've seen it the last few races, but I'm absolutely certain when it comes down to the wire, it's going to be chaos as per usual.
Chaos is the name of the game at Daytona. It's definitely a deciding factor a lot of times in these races. As qualifying is over, Kevin Giadricic will be your Sheffield Graphics pole winner again. So guess what, Brandon? You're going to get to talk again with him here after we go through our starting lineup here for duel number 1. And here is our starting lineup. Kevin Giadricic will be your Sheffield Graphics pole winner. Second is going to go to Marc-Andre Thibodeau. Third is fan favorite Craig A. Burns. Fourth is going to be Travis Everett. John Willett will start in the 5th position. 6th will go to Kevin Ruff. 7th there is Michael Martino. Harold Watkins will start in the 8th position. 9th will go to Kip Easley. 10th, Trevor Masadi. 11th will be Dylan Reed with GT Irizarry starting in the 12th position. 13th will go to Zach Schrittenthal. Nolan Potter in the 34 will start 14th. 15th will be Casey Kuntz. 16th will be Brock Potter. 17th, Kevin Zabladil. 18th will go to Tony Ludi. Ryan Ezel will start 19th. 20th will be David Hall. 21st will go to Kevin Sabilla. And then 23rd, I believe 22nd will actually go to Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., as that is our 22-car field. Possibly some of those are race controller admins, so we'll have to see. But yeah, we'll pull up our Shuffle Graphics poll winner and see what he has to say about grabbing another pole here tonight at the Daytona International Speedway. And here is Kevin Anderson.
Hey, Kevin, it's Brandon up in the booth. Can you hear me?
Sir.
Well, back-to-back polls. Apparently you got the qualifying figured out here. Hopefully this time around a little bit better of a result. Stay out of some mayhem. Well, it's a little bit longer of a race, and we talked about aggression last time I talked to you. You think it's going to be a little bit calmer now with that extra distance?
Man, to be honest, I thought last race was going to be calm, and you know, it definitely was not. So I hope it's a little bit more calm than what it was, but you know, you never know.
Well, something we were discussing up here in the booth, how confident are you guys on being able to make it to the end of this race on a tank of fuel? Is there any concern that maybe you guys are going to have to pit for fuel at some point?
Yeah, me and a few of the guys was talking about it a second ago. We do think we will have to pit. You might be able to get by if there's a caution, you know, clutching it and shutting her off, but other than that, I think you'll have to pit.
Well, it's good to know. We're going to be keeping an eye on that while you guys run around here. Let you get ready to start this thing off and set your starting position for the race next week. And wish you the best of luck. And hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Kevin G. Anderson, your Sheffield Graphics poll winner. What a finish that, or wow, man, I'm getting ahead of myself tonight. I'm just so Daytona, man. I'm telling you, like I said last time earlier, it mixes me up, man. With you got all this stuff going on, this place is crazy. But Kevin G. Anderson with a great pole lap there again to put himself up on top of the board. Marc-Andre Thibodeau will throw a great lap, put himself second right now. We got a big old field here, man. This should be fun to watch here as these guys go to work. And 40 laps, man, with this big a field. I allude to what Kevin said, Brandon. I don't think they'll make it on fuel if it goes green, but maybe if they get a caution, they could possibly stretch it, because I'm thinking about 36 laps is about as much as you can do under green here.
Yeah, completely under green, you're going to be pretty hard pressed to save that much fuel. Having to lift that much, you're probably going to lose the draft, and if you do that, then you are absolutely in a bad position. That's the one thing you do not want to have happen at a plate track. So we'll see if anybody can avoid that, and we'll see pit stop cycle out. Maybe they get a lucky caution as we go to take the green here.
Yes, we do. Pace
Green
cars
flag,
in.
green flag.
Kevin G. Anderson's leading us to green flag here for duel number 1 at the RSR Cup Series, brought to you by Or Nissan Central, as we get 2021 kicked off here for the Cup Series. This is the first qualifying race of their Daytona Speed Weeks.
Not much to actually do with the racing going on here as we're going off into turn 1 and 2, but just looking at all the dust flying off the track. Yeah, from all these guys getting up to speed here, it's a nice little touch. Adds to the realism of the sim that iRacing's given us here. It's pretty cool to see. It's a little bit scary because at first you think, oh man, maybe somebody's already blown their engine, but not just the dust. It's sandy down there in Daytona.
Yeah, it is really cool to see the dust like that. You know, and also you almost see the aerodynamics when the dust is going over these cars, how it just trails over the car behind it. So it's almost like a little mini wind tunnel.
Gives you that Earnhardt vision.
Yeah, I guess he just had dust all the time. He could just see dust.
I wish my eyes were that good. As looking at everybody spread out here, it's pretty much single file at the front. Looks like they're going to kind of calm down, with the lone exception looking to be the 88 of Trevor Massetti. He's kind of falling back now, looking to hop in behind the 24 at Kip, and he does that.
This is something I kind of thought was going to happen here early. You know, this qualifying race, these guys are saying they saw the clash. A lot of these guys did, because they were sitting there watching. A lot of guys were in the clash in this race, but they're serious thinking, we got 40 laps, guys. We don't have to go out here and wreck in the first 40, and I think it's a smart play here to just chug around the bottom right here as a train and just chug along.
Yeah, and they, we talked to Kevin during his poll interview, and they said that they were worried about fuel, so it might be the game plan of a lot of guys just to fall in line and draft. Unfortunately, Kevin's going to be the odd man out here. He's not going to be able to save too much. Same with Craig Burns having to push him, but third place Travis, Everett, fourth place Kevin Ruff, and on back, they're all in a pretty good spot to really save a lot of fuel. 5 laps though, I do not know.
Yeah, I don't think you'll save that under green. But like I said, you could put less. What you really could do by doing that is stay out later, probably possibly catch a caution, but most likely you're not going to go lap down by pitting. So there's weird things at play at this Daytona. Daytona. You pit, you want to pit with the group first of all. So if this does go green, you want to make sure you're pitting with the group. If you pit by yourself, then you will go lap down. But if you can pit without a group, you can get that stop done early as possible and stay on the lead lap. It actually works out in your favor. And then if a caution comes out, everybody else will have to pit. You just cycle to the front, almost running it backwards, such as a road course race would be. But you got to have factors playing into your hands.
Yeah, it's a little bit of luck and a good bit of correct timing. And it's not the easiest thing to do to coordinate a lot of cars to try to pit with you to make sure you're not by yourself. And we've seen sometimes in my experience, sometimes guys think people are going to pit with them and they end up going in by themselves. And then you have other times where guys will decide to pit in a big group, and then there's a big caution coming onto pit road, guys getting out of shape and running each other over. So there's a lot that can happen, especially under green flag pit stops.
Well, I tell you, right now, just looking at it, there's not many people trying to go forward, but one person I did notice trying to go forward is the 78 of Kevin Sabilla. But now he's back to the outside lane and starting to go backwards. So he gained a few positions. Started this race from starting in the 21st position. That 78. Looks like he's going to duck in line now, but he lost a few positions trying to get a few more. So, at some point, these guys are going to say, "Well, I didn't get far enough."
Well, my question now is, you see that entire outside line opened up. Who decides to try to form up with somebody and take advantage of all those free positions up for grabs?
Very good question, Brandon. That's the money question for sure that a lot of these guys have. There's a few guys making moves, like Ben GT, who's moved up 4 positions. Most people have pretty much stayed exactly where they started. So that's it's uncommon to see at Daytona. so there's a few guys there making moves. You can see the 75 with Marco Martino. He's jumping to the outside. GT was looking at the outside, jumped back down there right before the went to Harold Watkins. But yeah, it's such a give and take here early that I think it's smart. I think you don't really want to start racing till hey, this is time to go, and this is what I'm going to get my position. And in these cup cars, you can make a big gain of positions very quickly. I'm pretty sure you can allude to that.
Oh, absolutely. If you can find 2 or 3 guys right around you, as we see, looks like Marc Andre looking to dip out and GT going with him here. If you can find 2 or 3 guys that are willing to go with you and get really hooked up, run really smooth, you can fly around the outside and go from the back to the front in a hurry. It's these cars draft so well, and there's just so much speed, but it requires a lot of coordination between a handful of drivers to really get the most out of it.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I knew GT wasn't going to sit there and just ride. If there's one driver out there that's that 14, he's going to try to go to the front of the field, and he's going to try to make every move he can possible in that 14, in my opinion. So you got him pushing, looks like Marc-Andre Thibodeau, straight up to the front of this pack. It's side by side for the lead now. And you're actually going to see Travis Everett jump out there with his teammate now. So guess what? Oh, wow, that almost was a big moment there. GT through the back bumper of Marc-Andre Thibodeau. That could have been a big wreck here. 8 laps in the books. And these guys have said, yeah, it was fun riding around for 8 laps. Let's go to business now.
Yeah, I was just thinking right before that little wiggle and scary moment for Kevin that he's probably going to be a little bit nervous, seeing as the position he was in during the clash, and unfortunately got caught up in some incidents. But kept it clean, and a little bit of a reality check for some of these guys, saying, "Hey, man, we're only 9 laps into this 40-lap race. Maybe settle down a little bit." But we've got teammates now on the outside behind Marc-Andre Thibodeau in GT and Travis Everett.
Yeah, Thibodeau's going to clear that bottom lane, but decides not to pull down. Now he does. Ooh, late decision there. That could have been catastrophic, but everyone's able to hold on to it there. But now you got GT and Travis Everett locked up. They also had the 75 of Michael Martino coming into the picture here also.
And it's a good thing that I've got my mic keenly pushed to talk. Otherwise, all the viewers would be hearing a lot of oohs and ohs out of me. That was a pretty late move out of the 27 there, and didn't think that was going to work out very well. But good heads up by Kevin and the 12 of Craig Burns behind to realize what was going on and back out of it and not run anybody over.
Great races so far. GT's going to clear, but I think he's trying to get teammate Travis Everett clear with him, as they're not going to pull down yet. If they can just get a good run out of 4 here, they may be able to clear that bottom lane. Don't really have too much help from the 75 from behind, but we'll have to see what type of run they get here as Marc-Andre Thibodeau pulls ahead here.
Well, it looks like the coordination between the teammates just a little bit better. Travis Everett was able to stay a little bit closer to the rear bumper of GT, whereas Kevin's kind of laying back just a little bit off the 27, and they can still get a decent run through the corner just by nature of being on the quickest way around the track. But especially down the backstretch, it seems like the 14 and the 59 get massive runs if they're able to stay hooked up together through the corner.
Positions all around this track, trading back and forth like what, Brandon?
Like Pokemon cards at an elementary school.
That was I had to re-reference that one. That was a good one, man. But yeah, it's funny to see because 8 laps in, everybody's just riding on the bottom. Oh, everybody's just waiting. Nope, everybody threw caution to the window as soon as GT and Marc-Andre Thibodeau started making something work. They're like, "Ooh, the outside lane, it goes forward. What?" And so let's jump out there and help. It's literally a racer's mentality, and then you got a group of guys really back to, I believe that's really the 14th position, who really kind of they're like, we're gonna sit here and wait for no one to pot it.
Well, it was funny to watch. Like you said, everybody was single file and just kind of the gentleman's agreement. The guys were just gonna ride around for a little bit. Took one person to say, "Nah, I want to go to the outside," and everybody else went, "That's not too bad of an idea." It went, first 8 laps or so with single file and switch flipped. Now got side-by-side racing all the way back to about the 10th position, it looks like.
Yeah, I tell you, man, that's the thing at Daytona. You start making moves and going forward, people will follow. They take notes.
Absolutely, especially if it's, if you're somebody that people recognize that are normally very good at this type of racing, they're always watching to see what you're doing. And when you go, they will absolutely go with you.
Well, great racing to this first portion of this event here from the duel #1 of the RSR Cup Series. They were always brought to you by Sheffield Graphics, ButtKicker, or Nissan Central. So they always put on a heck of a show here, and they got some great sponsors to go along.
Oh, man. I'm getting so nervous looking at all this. There's just so many bumpers slightly out of line with some pushing, and guys moving up a little bit, leaving a door open, and a nose looking like it's going to get stuck in there, and it doesn't. I'm just waiting. It's like a powder keg.
It's like a powder keg waiting to let go. That's for sure, man. It's just crazy looking at lap times. Everybody running 45-40s like up front. It's everybody running the same lap time because they're all just right on top of each other.
Yeah, like first through 10th, separated by just a couple hundredths of a second for lap time. And a lot of the best laps of the race are right about even. I think there's only one. It's GT right now who's got the best lap of the race at a 44.9, where everybody else is running 45.0s. So the margin is so slim.
Yeah, actually looking at, I think Kevin Sabilla has a 44.87. and you're seeing some 44s back here in the 16th, 17th, and 18th positions. That's because of the draft right there. These guys in the back can run the fastest laps of this race. They're just getting towed around, and they actually have room to keep going forward instead of a car ahead of them. So, yeah, you get the biggest amount of draft from behind that huge pack back here.
Well, I don't know if RSR does bonus points for fastest laps, but if they do, that is what I call cheating. It's I know
call it
some guys.
Okay.
I know some guys that will at plate track sit at the back and try to get that massive draft, knowing that there's a bonus point for that fastest lap, just to go ahead and shore that up before they decide to start racing. But just poking a little bit of fun at some of these guys.
It's called good strategy, Brandon. Come on. I'm not with people that do that. You know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
But 25 to go here in duel number 1. These guys have done great. I mean, it started to really get racy there on lap 8 on, and now they're really starting to it's not spreading out, but it looks like the lanes are kind of deforming a little bit, and like some guys dropping back to the bottom again here. Is Marc-Andre Thibodeau kind of slid up off the bottom. I didn't know if the 9 was going to take that spot.
I've seen that happen quite a few times now. The 27, I don't know if he's just maybe trying to give the 9 a good visual of where the corner is going to start, just to make sure that, you know, he's not over or understeering the entry to the corner. But it looks like the 9 is about poked the nose under a few times. It looks like the 14 of GT is now going to leave his teammate out and decide to go to the lead here. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh no, they're wrecking.
Oh, what a save from Kevin Giadricic. They're all going to keep it straight pretty much from there on out, guys. It's going to stay green. What a save, though, from the 9.
And unfortunate for Kevin Sabilla. He is completely missing his nose.
Hard contact there to the rear end of another car, I believe. But, yeah, that all started. Andre Thibodeau got a little bit into the apron there, shot up into Travis Everett. Travis Everett saves it, and Kevin Giadricic held on to that thing masterfully, and that was an impressive save from him. So great to keep that thing straight. But now we got about a 3-car breakaway, as I think Craig A. Burns might have lost to a grasp of this front pack, and he'll have to slide back into the grasp of this pack back here. But if these guys back here get lined up, they should be able to run this 3-car pack down.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe Craig is just going to hang on to that draft as he's making up a little bit of time here. But the back of the pack, you know, 6, 7 cars is much better than 4, especially when that 4 want to race side by side. And, you know, we've got some experience with that, Zach, and some of the races we've done, being able to make up a huge gain on a lead pack by just working together pretty well. It's not that difficult to do. It takes some time, but it's definitely feasible.
You know, and you would be surprised. You would think just getting a single file line is the fastest way to go. But actually, I like to call it the conveyor belt effect. You kind of have a car hop up to the outside, take the lead. Then you have the next car hop out to the outside, take the lead, and just keep rotating that car that's leading. And you keep the temperatures cool, and really running side by side sometimes is even faster for some reason in this package. It used to be you want to stay single file and just run together. But you get such a big run and you have so many checkups in a single file line that you really can't get the momentum going. So it's better to separate those cars into 2 lines and just almost trade the lead back and forth, the car jumping one car to the next car.
Yeah, and it works out pretty well. You've got to have a lot of guys that can coordinate and make it work and understand the mentality of doing it that way. Because I've seen it the same way where I've tried to do it and tried to organize guys to do it that way to catch back up, and it's just you just can't do it. So you've got to have a good understanding and a lot of good rapport with the guys around you to make it work properly. And they've been gaining a little bit, but once they got spread out like they have now, a little bit more single file with 1 car on the inside, they lost about another 10th to this lead pack. And now as they're getting formed back up again, they're slowly making more inroads down to just under 3.5 seconds. It looks like
20 laps. Once they get within about 1.5 seconds, they'll really start to fly. That's when they'll start getting the toe off them guys, and you'll just see them come in a hurry. But this first 1.5 seconds that they need to gain to really 2 seconds is going to be tough. That's where it's tough, and you got to make the most of it. And we'll see how these guys work together and if they can formulate how to catch back up to this 4-car breakaway, or can this 4-car breakaway work together just well enough to where it'll come down to these 4 when it gets to the end of this duel.
Well, I think based on the fact that we're still going to have to see pit stops, looking at the fuel window from some of our guesses and what what insight he had into it, we're still going to see pit stops. So I think even if they catch them, the field's going to get spread out again. And they're up to 2 seconds now, just over 2 seconds, and they're definitely catching them in a hurry. I know a few cars up there are going to have a little bit of damage, but even if they catch them, when everything gets spread out again, that's when we're really going to have to pay attention to what pack is working very well together.
Yeah, looking at lap times right now, 47 flat for the leaders to a 46 flat for Kevin Ruff, who's leading this pack. That's going to be a second a lap. They're already at 1.1 seconds back. They're going to have a major run. They will catch them this lap.
Yeah, I imagine going down the backstretch here, I would see everybody file to the outside and just kind of steamroll this little pack forward.
Yeah, it'll matter. Let's see if Kevin Ruff uses the run and the momentum he has. It seems like he's going to decide other just to hold to the bottom lane and get these guys pushing forward. He had a pretty good head of steam. Oh, now Marc-Andre Thibodeau will get passed by Travis Everett with GT behind him. Craig Burns. Looks like Thibodeau might get freight trained a little bit here to the back of the field.
Now we've got teammates leading this race with Travis Everett and GT Rosari and Craig Burns, fan favorites, in third place. Really good job getting through all that calamity there to keep on to the draft. And there we got, 3 wide behind him with Marc-Andre stuck in the middle.
Oh, yeah, he's going to get down to the bottom lane. Looks like that's Nolan Potter up top with, I believe that's Trevor. No, sorry, who is that? 34 and the 2. Oh, Zach
Schrittenthal.
What a run they had down the back straightaway, too. Those two are going forward.
Okay, looks like Harold Watkins looking to jump out of line here and latch on with him, go up towards the front. I've been sitting here cycling through different cars trying to figure out who's got damage and who didn't. It looks like that 22 is still pretty clean.
Look at the 34 and the 2. Man, oh man, I'm telling you, they have just straight drove to the front.
Well, and the 2 of Zach Schrittenthal, he's a little bit of contact. Oh, nice save from Travis Everett.
That was amazing. Travis Everett was lucky contact tonight, huh?
No, that is what you call swatting bees in the car. Yeah, he was all over that wheel input there. If we'd have been on board with him, you'd have seen that thing snapping left, right, trying to keep it straight.
Yeah, that was amazing save from Travis Everett. That was A-class driving from 59.
The 2, we talked about the 2 and the 34 charging on the outside to the front. The 2 has a little bit of right front damage, but pushing very, very well, which is really what he's kind of going to have to do. The Cup cars especially, a little bit of nose damage just seems to hurt your clean air speed a lot more than what we saw with the ARCA cars. Even just a slight scuff that it registers, if for anybody that runs on the surface, is a 0x, which is very minimal contact. It still seems to hurt the speed to an extent.
Yeah, this place does not like aerodynamic damage. But I tell you what, we were talking about the 2 there for a second, Zach Schrittenthal. If my brain can remember correctly, and I feel like I have the memory of an elephant here, especially with racing, Zach Schrittenthal is a very good pusher from what I remember at Talladega when we had our playoff race there. That dude could really give great pushes and get people really going forward, and he kind of proved it right there, getting him and Nolan Potter, his teammate, straight to the front. I
believe you're correct, Zach. If I remember right, it was the 2 of Zach Schrittenthal that pushed Ryan Bean to his victory at Talladega. They worked very well together, and also over the radio, got the 12 that is going to be coming in to pit this time by. I guess he elects not to because nobody else chimed in and said they wanted to go too.
Well, if my elephant memory serves me right, it was Craig A. Burns that pushed Ryan Bean to the victory. But Schrittenthal was involved in a wreck at the very end that was fighting for me. If I remember correctly. I don't know what it is about me in racing, but little details like that stick out to me, but I just remember that 2 car being super good at pushing, and he's kind of proved that already so far. I mean, the dude's, I mean, him and the 34 of Nolan Potter just, they look like they were on rails there for a second going around the field.
You very well might be correct. Sometimes my memory is super, super good, and then some other times I can't even remember if I turned the light off or if I just left. So
Same.
that very well may be the case. But like
When
you
it
said,
comes to
he's yeah.
I don't know what it is. Something sticks in my brain visually.
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely showing that he is really looking like the best pusher in the field right now. And anybody that wants to go to the front, they're going to have to hook up with him and try to dislodge this 34 and find some room on the nose of that 2 car.
Yeah, we're gonna see who can take it to him. He's got Harold Watkins directly behind these guys. That's a formidable lineup there for these Cup drivers.
And looking at it, everything's all settled back down to single file now. I think guys are maybe starting to try to position themselves for the green flag pit stop. They know it's coming, which it should be coming up here in about 5 laps. I honestly, I would have tried to have gotten this done sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting how that plays out. And I want to bring a point, Brandon. We were talking about Tritton, Potter, and Watkins. Those are 3 team members on Stealth Motorsports, so they've gotten the perfect position to pit together now.
Absolutely, and talking about trying to dislodge the 34, being a teammate of the 2, you're gonna be very hard pressed to get that 2 to decide to work with you and not his teammate. And this time around, heard Craig Burns going into pit as well as the 112 of Kevin Ruff, and a whole swath of others that are looking to come in this time.
Here they are hitting pit road. Looks like Craig A. Burns. Looks like Kevin Ruff, Marc-Andre Thibodeau, Kevin Giadricic, Michael Martino, David Hall, Kevin Zabladil, Kip Easley, Dylan N. Reed, and I believe there's one more car they have missed. Tony Ludi. There you go.
Oh, Kevin Ruff, I don't know if he had some help, but looked like he overshot his box quite a bit having to back up. I think this is going to cost him a draft because he still has not got his service started.
Oh yeah, that's gonna really hurt Kevin Ruff, and that's something we don't talk about a lot, Brandon. But these pit boxes at Daytona are terrible for sliding through because, first of all, it's one of the faster pit roads. You know, we're going 60 mile an hour down pit road, where most places we're going in the 40s to even lower. So you're going faster than normal, so it kind of comes up on you a little quicker. And also, those concrete pit boxes, you just slide through them. It's something about the tire, the heat, whatever it is. I just feel like Daytona is so easy to slide through and very tough to get going on cold tires too on that apron.
It really is, especially these guys. It didn't look like anyone really took tires, didn't want to waste the time to take tires when they don't really need them. They just need the fuel at this point, a little splash and go for a lot of these drivers. And the thing with the plate tracks is the brakes, you need them obviously to stop, but they're not a big factor because for the most part you're wide open here. And they just don't stop very well, and especially on the old tires, grip, making that transition from asphalt to concrete, and you think you're coming in at, you might even think that you've come in slower than you need to, and then you're sliding a pit stall and a half past your box.
Yeah, it's so easy to do at this place. And to allude to no change in tires there, they do not have any available. So no tire
Yeah.
boxes. Most of them probably would have took maybe 2, but with the amount of fuel they had to put in the car, it's better just do a splash at this point. So that's another thing. Some of these guys may have got that wrong because if you sit there and wait to get this car filled up, you're going to have a way too long of a stop. So you need to be setting up your fuel just enough to make it to the end. And the thing is, if Schrittenthal, Watkins, and Potter here can do this perfectly as teammates, as they're getting by this group of cars here, if they can go farther and take less fuel, they'll have less time on pit road, and they possibly can still win this thing very easily by pulling that off.
Well, they very well could, and I'm looking back through the field trying to figure out where everybody's at. It looks like a lot of just different packs for these guys to pit of 2 or 3 cars.
A lot of different strategies being played, and the thing is I like what Nolan Potter and Schrittenthal and Watkins are doing because right now they literally last time I ran a 44.83. they're flying right now because they were getting trapped off another pack. So this is working out in their favor personally.
And I mean, if you're still putting down lap times quicker than the guys that just pit and you've still got the fuel, take advantage of that extra time on track that you're going to gain, and it equals out, and it may actually benefit you during your pit stop, just having a quicker lap average and cycle back to the lead. And it's a big toss-up. We talked about different strategies that go into play here at these plate races where, you know, is it good to be the first pack that pits, or is it better to be the second pack that pits? Personally, I like being the second pack. For whatever reason, it just seems to be a little bit quicker, and you just kind of cycle back out to the lead.
Yeah, I would imagine these guys will be hitting pit road very soon as we have 5 to go here. So I imagine here starting lap 36 of this run, I think these guys will have to hit pit road at least within the next lap or so.
I think so. I just, maybe GT and these guys, I don't know if they could have saved this amount of fuel, but they've got to be running it bone dry. It's definitely going to be close, and it's one thing, you know, to save fuel at a track where you're going to be off throttle quite a bit more, but trying to have that delicate balance of maybe half throttle or so in the draft and not lose the draft, but also not use too much fuel. It is the hardest thing to do at a plate track, is to save fuel.
Yeah, it's a tough place to save fuel, but you definitely can do it here. They're still coming by. They come with 4 to go here. So still looking decent here, 4 to go. Hey, Brandon, they might be able to stretch this thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. You can save a considerable amount in the draft. You can save up to 2 to 3 laps personally. I've seen people stretch it 3 laps at Daytona, even though it's a 2.5 mile track, that's a lot, but you can ride around here 75% power. I think that's what you're seeing from GT and these guys. I think they're back. You can see they're dropping back from the guys ahead of them. And I think some guys are going to try to stretch this because you have a 41-second gap to Craig A. Burns. 41 seconds is the first guy to pit. If you run out of gas coming out of 4, you can still win this race.
Well, we've got, looks like the front 4 are going to be pitting now. Travis Everett coming in as well. And if these guys run out of fuel, Kevin Ruff, I believe it was, they're not too far behind.
Thibodeau wrecked on the entry of pit road there. Looks like he's going to get it back going, though. No problems there as he's on the entry of pit road, spun out. But yeah, this is going to come down to some interesting stuff. These guys can't slide through the box. They got to do as least amount of fuel as they possibly can here and get it back going on the apron. Right now, the first car to pit is Craig A. Burns, and they're coming through 3 and 4 as they're leaving pit road. So I believe they have easily jumped these guys.
These guys always surprise with these strategies where we just don't think they're going to make it. And somebody's going to end up running out and having some kind of crazy close finish going across the line.
2 to go. Trevor Masati and I think GT Irizarry, they have made their bed. And they're sticking with their plan here because I don't see him pitting this time by. I see him just trying to make it to the interiors. The 88 right now in a pretty good position behind these other lap cars here, right on the tone in the lead lap, so he can really save some fuel. GT's got a little bit of help behind him of Tony Ludi. So this is going to get wild as we're coming up through the Sheffield Graphics white flag this time by. This race completely green. Can someone stretch it? I knew it was going to be close. I figured if you could save enough, you might be able to do it. It's white flag in the air. One final time. Does Trevor Masati and GT Irizarry have enough to make it back around? GT really slowing down a lot. Trevor not, though. Trevor maybe feels very confident about this in the 88. He must have saved a good bit in that 88 machine.
Well, we have to remember that the 88, he's not been out front so far until he took the lead after this pit cycle, whereas GT was up there fighting for the lead, had a lot of clean air. True. And even for all the saving that GT is doing, he's fallen back so far from the draft that he can't save enough.
He's out. GT Irizarry is out of gas. He is rolling. I think Trevor Masati's got this as he comes out turn 4. This is going to be a win for duel number 1 for Trevor Masati. He's going to start on the front row at Daytona. What a job by him to stretch the fuel in that 88. That is so impressive. Man, I did not expect someone to be able to do it.
We're going to have to ask him how close he was on fuel.
The thing is, though, GT ran out, but he's still going to finish second. that just shows you, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. That
St-
right there, and I think Masadi's out of fuel now, down the back straightaways.
Still
He's wiggling.
a big battle for third, fourth, and fifth right here as the two teammates hook up to take third and fourth.
That'll help their lineup for there. So Nolan Potter third, Zach Strittenthal fourth, Travis Everett in the fifth position. Looks like Harold Watkins, he might come up in seventh with Craig A. Burns in the sixth position. David Hall eighth, ninth will be Dylan Reed, and Kevin G. Adder-sits the pole winner for duel number 1, finishing 10th. Yeah, Trevor Masadi out of fuel. You can see he's rolling on the apron. That car is done and out of fuel. What a finish there, down to the very, very end there, man.
I got to give some advantage to these guys going into Duel 2 here, knowing that it can be done now.
Done. Exactly, Brandon. You're going to see loads of strategy being played now in Duel number 2 because they just proved it can very well work. Even running out of fuel in the back straightaway can work.
Yeah, coasting for half a lap and you still managed to finish second. I mean, it's not a win, but that is a fantastic strategy.
Yes, it is. Very well done by them guys. We have our race winner up here. I believe we'll take a quick break and get everything set up here, and then we'll interview him, and then we'll move on to the next server, which should start here in the next 10 minutes or so. All right, we are back here with duel number 1, all in the books here at the RSR Cup Series. What a duel it was. Completely green all the way to the end, and we just got proven that you can stretch the fuel. So we got to hear how Trevor did it, and maybe it'll be pretty useful for these guys going into duel 2 to listen to what he has to say. Hey, Trevor, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, Trevor, man, you pulled off the strategy that we thought was possible, but we didn't know because we were questioning to see if anybody could stretch it there. We figured 37, 36 was about as far as most of these guys would go, and that's seemed like what they did. How did you end up stretching the fuel that far, Trevor?
I honestly wasn't sure if I could make it either. I kind of got what I thought was unlucky where all my teammates were in the second duel and I was in the first one. So I was kind of riding solo, but they were all in my ear, and I just met most of them. So thanks to them for helping me out, and they were just telling me what to do, keeping me posted on what everyone else was doing, and letting me or helped me to win that one, I guess.
Yeah, man. Well, you did an amazing job to be able to pull that off. We were wondering. I mean, we knew it with about 2 to go. You and the 14 were going to try at least to stretch it if y'all had already gone that far. And man, it seems like you ran out on the back straightaway, but that's just so impressive. So how does it feel, first of all, going into next week to know you're going to start from the front row, leading this race to the green?
I'm not sure, honestly, because normally I don't like to start up front on super speedways, but I guess we're going to change that, and we'll see what we can do. So hopefully it turns out good.
Hey man, that's a great way to start it off. Like you said, sometimes it's not always the goal to start a super speedway at the front; it's the end there. So I mean, you can at least take this experience from tonight and know how far you can stretch it on fuel. And man, that was super impressive, Trevor. So congrats on the victory, pulling that dual win off here tonight before we head off to Daytona next week. Anybody want to send a shout out to you for your victory here tonight?
Yeah, thanks. I want to send thank you to all my new teammates that I just met a couple minutes ago, and basically that they helped me out and gave me that win. So thank you guys.
Awesome stuff, Trevor. Congrats on the win here tonight, and we will catch you next Tuesday night here at Daytona.
Look forward to it.
You have a great night.
You too.
All right, that was Trevor Massetti there pulling off the victory, and I gotta say that was super impressive for him to pull off the victory here in duel number 1. That was just mind blowing, wasn't it, Brandon?
Yeah, it's amazing that only 2 cars decided to try this strategy, and it really worked out well for both of them. I mean, GT ran out of fuel, but just the gap that he had was able to still hang on for second place, and for Trevor to actually be underpowered the entire last lap and not run out until halfway down the backstretch on the cooldown. I mean, it just goes to show that there's a lot of benefits to not going up and just leading every single lap. It can really work out for you in the long run.
That it really can, my friend. Well, we can pull up the race results here and show you where your favorite drivers finished in this first duel to let you know where they're going to be starting on the inside row for next week at Daytona here with the RSR Cup Series. And as you can see, Trevor Messiah here bringing home the victory in that first position. Second's going to go to GT Irizarrius. He stretched the fuel also, but ran out on the cool up pretty much halfway through the lap, but he's still able to roll around to get second. Third is going to go to Nolan Potter. Fourth, Zach Schrittenthrall. Fifth's going to go to Travis Everett. Sixth, Craig A. Burns. Seventh will be Harold Watkins. Eighth will go to David Hall. Ninth's going to be Dylan M. Reed. 10th will go to Kevin G. Andersich. 11th will be Kip Easley. 12th will go to Marc-Andre Thibodeau. 13th position will be Barack Potter. 14th, Tony Ludi. 15th, Kevin Ruff. 16th will go to Michael Martino. 17th is Kevin Zabladil. 18th will be Kevin Sabilla. 19th will be John Willett. 20th will go to, well, actually 19th will be John Willett. Sorry, that's race control at 20th. So yeah, that rounds out your field, your 19 cars here in duel number 1. Brandon, what can we expect going into duel 2? Because we got a little time to burn here.
Well, I think these guys are going to be taking it a lot easier. Guys are going to be trying to sit in the trap to see if they can save as much fuel as possible. But that only works out if you don't get a caution. These guys were fortunate enough that they didn't get a caution because, I mean, if we had Trevor Massetti GT, they may have finished 10th. They may have gotten swamped just due to the nature of the pack racing. You never know. A lot of circumstances got to fall in line, and you got to get a little bit lucky to have something like this pay off because it is a huge gamble. And I imagine we'll see some guys just sitting in the back kind of hanging out. And, maybe not so early aggression is what we saw in this race about lap 8 where guys decided to go too wide and start really battling, or maybe they'll just stay too wide off the drop of the green flag and be battling the whole race. Maybe they'll go green the whole way and we'll have a photo finish. I don't know. We're coming down to the last race of tonight's broadcasts, and I've been blown away by all the ones we've had before, so I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a different thing happen in each one, kind of a different story to tell in each race. So it's been exceptional racing, first of all. This duel just showed everybody in duel 2, like we've been saying, that you can make it. So I'm sure all the drivers listening out there, save the fuel. It will get you there. And I think, like you said, it's going to be a lot more calm. I think you're going to see guys saving from the very get-go. And if you save enough, I mean, we've seen Trevor make it all the way down the back straightaway. If you save enough fuel, you can go to battle in the last few laps. And you never know. You could put yourself in that right position. I think the person that's going to be up front is going to be saying, somebody passed me. You're going to have people putting the handbrake on in this next duel.
Yeah, we might end up with a really slow average lap time with guys nobody's wanting to take the leads. So they're nearly coming to a backstretch or to a stop on the backstretch saying, hey, no, you.
That's the funny thing too, Brandon. It's like, what are we going to see? The person who leads just be, kind of stranded and just be like the only guy that has to pit. I mean, how many people do we get a caution that throws all that strategy out the way? I mean, there's so many factors that play into this next duel that it should be super exciting. So make sure you stay tuned in because, man, I'm just thinking that we may see something way different than we expect. I mean, you never know going into this. So, it's been a great start to the RSR Cup Series here in Duel number 1, and I can't wait for Duel number 2 to start here. And that'll be in the next 4 minutes. The session will be going up. So we're just burning a little time here before we have to go over there and get the second duel started. And we got some really special names in there too. I'll just go ahead and tell you who all is going to be competing in there. And I believe this list was from the other night, so it's not exactly all who is in there because we did have a few extras from the first race. I think people who joined a little bit later on. But looks like we got Nathan Campbell in the 52 from Stealth Motorsports. He's going to be starting there. Cody McCauley, who we've seen in the Truck Series. That dude's just bad fast each and every week. We'll see if he gets the pole because that dude is known to be. He's good at getting the pole. That's for sure.
Yeah, Truck Series Rocket Man is what he is.
Yeah, we'll see how it translates to the Cup car. I'm sure it will. I mean, we've seen Cody in multiple different things, and he's just fast. Randy Cornwell, always a fast driver. Drew Hatcher, Curtis Preston, our past series champion. Chad Biesinger, Dustin Stallings, James Courtrun, who I believe is actually coming up from the ARCA series now to go into Cups. That's cool to see someone we see transfer from last season up to the Cup series now. Michael Sheffield will be out there. Matt Rush, he was a Final Four contender. He was racing good in the Clash race. Junior Miller, Ryan Ezel, Ryan Bean, the winner from the Clash race. Daniel Gonzalez, Adam Buzzio, Bob Fitzpatrick, Alex Rudolph, Casey Kuntz, and Andrew Little. So that's a stud of a field right there, first of all, just like Duel 1 was. I mean, this whole entire lineup in Cup Series is just stacked, and I can't wait to go into this next duel. I mean, who do you think are some of the favorites we're looking at going into the next duel?
I'd probably have to say hands down Ryan Bean. I mean, he's just incredibly fast at the plate tracks, and got to give a nod to Cody McCauley as well. We talk about all the time how close the trucks are to the Cup cars, and see really maybe not so much at Daytona as just how even the cars are, but once we get to the 1.5 miles and the short tracks and the 2 milers, exactly how much that translates and how similar they really are. And I don't know. I mean, we thought for sure during the Clash we knew who was going to win, and then there's a big wreck, and I think Ryan was in like 3rd or 4th, and he ended up coming home to win within the last 200 feet. So it's really up in the air until the very end.
Yeah, it's always up in the air. One name I want to point out, you brought up some really good drivers too, but I think a driver that's going to have a really good shot at this possibly also is Michael Sheffield. We know how patient Michael Sheffield is and how good he places himself in the right spots. I think he'll for sure be able to save the fuel just from, overall heat. And he's a smart driver, first of all, so I know he'll be able to save the fuel. We'll have data from 2 of his teammates in the previous session before to go over with them and see how they did. GT made it to the end. So I'd say watch out for Sheffield to come out of nowhere and possibly get a victory here in this next duel. So I think we got a lot of names to watch, but like you said, Ryan Bean's another good one. There's just so many. I mean, Bob Fitzpatrick. There's guys that were super fast throughout that whole entire Clash race too that we could just talk days about. But we will take a quick break, guys, as we are about a minute away from the next session. So we should be back talking to you guys and live talking here in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So we'll take a quick break here as we go switch sessions and get ready for duel number 2. All right, we're back here for duel number 2 as we're just heading off into qualifying for the RSR Cup Series. After we just witnessed a spectacular duel number 1. I mean, we've had 4 spectacular Daytona races so far tonight. I mean, we've had the ARC Evolution, just duels, then we had the Clash, then we had our first duel race in the Cup Series. It's been a Daytona night. After next week at Daytona, I think I might be Daytona'd out, but it's always fun here to get the season kicked off here at the World Center Racing as these guys head off into qualifying right now. And we're looking at Randy Cornwell putting out some times. You see I run the outside lane, getting this thing all wound up in that 18. Man, he is flirting with the wall. He's coming almost one with it as these guys go around the track. But we already seen in the duel number 1 that you can stretch the fuel possibly. It is very doable. And that's something we got to see who can do it, replicate what Trevor did, because Trevor kind of made it look easy. I mean, he went all the way to the back straightaway. Now guys know it's possible. I'm sure a lot of guys learn from that. We'll have to see who gets the pole here. I'm sure Brandon will be able to ask them and see what they think about that, because I think someone's got to pull that strategy, at least from the beginning, because you never know if you're going to get a caution.
Well, Zach, I don't think that if you do pull that strategy, if you end up getting stuck out by yourself and are not as fortunate as Trevor was, where he had some lap cars that he can kind of draft off to and hang out in a pack with, if you're by yourself doing it, I don't think it's going to pay off that well.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Zach, what you snacking on there, bud?
Nothing. What are you talking about? Maybe a pretzel or two, but you know, I thought your statement was going to be longer, but you caught me with a mouthful. Next time I'll chew faster. But yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see. You know, like you said, he had the lap cars there to help, but I don't know if Trevor had that planned out from the very beginning for that. That's another thing. So let's see how that all shakes out. Maybe you can go even farther.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, he really wasn't up in the front. He was just kind of hanging around, you know, towards the end of that really lead pack, hanging out in the top 10 and just drafting and riding most of the race. And it just kind of worked out that he felt like he had enough fuel and was able to stay out and got that pack that he could fall in with and not really have to do too much more fuel saving, whereas we saw GT really having to half throttle and lose a lot of time and speed, and unfortunately it just wasn't enough.
Well, we got Chad Biesinger so far on top of the board. Ryan Bean there, race winner from the Clash, pops himself in the 7th now. Nathan Campbell up the 2nd. 47.68, that's a good time. I'm pretty sure that's actually exactly what Kevin Jadders just ran. So I have to see if I can run faster than 68 here.
Gonna be hard pressed. I think that's about what the limit is that you could possibly get. And also, you know, there's more things into the qualifying at plate tracks than you know, just holding a smooth line. Sometimes you get a really lucky bit of wind that helps you, just pushes you down the backstretch for a little bit more speed. And sometimes you have to depend on that a little bit more than you know, just being smooth. And occasionally guys just get super lucky with that good gust that helps them carry a little bit more speed for some better time.
That is the beauty of dynamic weather, my friend, on iRacing. Because sometimes you get that good old shove by the Florida breeze here by the beach, and it can definitely help you there. So we just see Andrew Little there cross for his first lap right now. Actually, that's his second lap. Yeah, you know me. So second lap there, qualified 14th. So I just thought he'd go farther up the board. That's my bad. And a Sheffield on a lap here, and I don't think we'll have time because we got about 2 seconds left here in qualifying. He's coming out of 4. I think he's going to be short just a few seconds. Yep. And the iRacing gods say no. You will not complete your lap.
Shut it down.
Yeah, shut it down. Put it out. We will head to our qualifying results here. Chad Biesinger sits on top of the board for our Sheffield Graphics Pole Winner Award. So first there is Chad Biesinger starting first. Second will be Nathan Campbell. Third is going to go to Dustin Stallings. Fourth is going to be Casey Coots. 5th will be Bob Fitzpatrick. 6th, there is Adam Buzzio. 7th, Daniel Gonzalez. 8th, Ryan Bean. 9th, Matthew Rush. 10th is going to be Curtis Preston. 11th is Ryan Ezel. 12th will be Randy Cornwell. 13th will be James Courtrone. 14th will be Andrew Little. 15th starting position will go to Junior Miller. 16th will be Michael Sheffield. 17th will be Cody McCauley. 18th, Alex Rudolph. And rounding out your field will be Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. and 19th. As that is your starting grid, and we'll pull down our Sheffield Graphics poll winner of Chad B. Singer and see what his thoughts are on getting his Sheffield Graphics poll here tonight.
Hey, Chad, it's Brandon up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, great job getting this poll here to start off this duel. Were you watching that first duel? And if you were, what did you learn? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I learned I probably shouldn't have wanted to try to get the pole, because I don't think I want to be leading the pack at all if I'm going to save any fuel.
Yeah, it's it's something we've noticed that it's possible. We definitely saw that it's possible. And some questions about whether you want to lead or just hang out in the back. But I mean, it really depends on if you get that caution. And based on the first duel, everybody was able to keep it pretty clean. Had a few issues. Do you think you guys can expect the same out here tonight with this half of y'all's field? You got a lot of faith in your competitors here that you guys can run just as clean.
I do, but man, you just never know here. I don't know. I hate to even guess. We'll just see what happens.
Well, as you guys are rolling off here, man, hopefully you can keep that car clean and keep some good track position. Maybe the strategy will work out for you, and we'll get to talk to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thanks, guys.
He seems nervous, Zach.
I would be. It'd probably help if I unmute, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, Chad B. Singer. Oh, I'm not talking. But that's Chad B. Singer, your Sheffield Graphics poll winner here tonight at Daytona. Starting out front, I think is going to be an issue. Like he said, he's like, I don't know about this one. I shouldn't have got the poll.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a toss-up. And like we said, it only works if there's not a caution. If there is a caution, then I think everybody can absolutely make it. Everybody's really going to be heads up enough, one, to clutch the car and keep it in fourth gear and just let it roll for as long as possible. But also just, you save quite a bit of fuel under caution. It's just the nature of, running slower pace speeds here. You can save a good bit. And it looked like it was only about, 4 or 5 laps that we needed to save. So we'll just see how this thing shakes out, man. It very well could go green. We may just see a repeat of what we just saw in Duel 1. We never know.
Yeah, I expect it to go green. But like Chad was alluding to, is Daytona. You never know. You really never know. So we'll just have to see and position himself at the right spot here. But pace car is going to pull in this time, guys, and we're going to get duel number 2 here. Kicked off at the Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing for the RSR Cup Series. Chad B. Singer will lead us through.
And still really calm, and everybody got a pretty manageable gap on their restarts. Everybody's about the same distance except for the front 4 here, kind of closing in on the bumpers, getting ready to start pushing down the backstretch. I'm interested to see if people maybe take that risk that, hey, we're going to get a caution, and I'm going to go out here and just lead some laps and try to keep that track position.
Right now, side by side for the lead, that top spot. They're racing right now, Brain. That's my thing. Right now, they're all side by side. When does it start to single file out? That's my question. I think a lot of guys' strategy possibly was to get in the backpack here and just kind of ride.
We talk about that strategy in the back. We got to remember that 2 teammates in Cody McCauley in the 62 and Alex Rudolph in the 42 are nose to tail with each other, just kind of hanging out. Not too unfamiliar of a strategy that I've run with some teammates at these plate tracks. Just kind of find each other back in the field and go when you need to. But like you said, wondering when it's going to settle down. We saw the first duel. They were single file for the first 8 laps or so, but these guys, the front pack decided, we want to race up here, where the back half of the pack decided they just wanted to kind of single file out and, take advantage of this draft and save some fuel right off the get-go.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see already the 52, the 31 up here of Nathan Campbell and Casey Kuntz just kind of trying to race right now for the lead. And I'm sure Chad Biesinger, we heard from him, he doesn't want to lead, so he's kind of like, go around me.
Oh, if I've been in this spot before where, because I personally don't like to run up front at the plate tracks. It's just the hornet's nest up there that I like to try to avoid. And if I qualify on the pole, I get about up 2 laps just to make sure I lead a lap for sure. And then that second lap, I'm pulling over to the apron on the backstretch and catching onto the back of the field. So he must not want the lead that much. Otherwise, I'm sure he'd have done something similar. As now we've got Nathan Campbell jumping out in front off the nose of Casey Kuntz in that 31 to take the lead.
Well, you're already seeing some lead change hands. Nathan Campbell, he's decided he wants to take this lead. So, yeah, it's playing out interesting, but they're starting to single file. You can already start to see some of these guys saying, I need to get to the bottom, and I just need to save fuel.
We might end up seeing, just this long single file race and everybody playing this fuel game. And if they decide not to race, then they absolutely won't get a caution. Nobody's going to be pushing the issue to have those accidents happen. So just due to the nature of their attempted strategy, it may just kind of make itself work.
This is going to play out interesting. This duel right here could be, I don't want to say boring, but it could be very strategy filled with a lot of these guys saying, well, I need to run about 75%, 50% throttle the rest of this run. Like you said, Brandon, this could be a really low pace duel. I mean, right now, they're only running 46.31. You can run a 44.9 around this place. They're going almost 2 seconds slower.
And that equates to 10 mile an hour slower, because I'm looking at it right now, and in the draft, full throttle, pushing somebody, you're hitting 200. Going through the front stretch through the tri-oval there, guys were only running about 189.
Look at the gap building between Dustin Stallings and Casey Kuntz. The top three have just driven away to a second lead over the front of the field here. This is just showing you the different agendas right now.
That can actually, it's going to hurt Dustin Stallings, because now he's got fresh air on his nose, which is going to be making him have to work harder to keep up the pace that he's running. So he's not going to be able to save as much fuel. And if these 3 guys at the front decide to just turn on the afterburners and go full race pace, they could build such a gap that they could pit and it not even matter.
That's just so interesting. Yeah, man, I don't. This is where the strategy's gonna come to the book, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's seeing Duel 2. Man, it's so close on fuel. You got to really stretch it. Now everybody's in that window to say, I just want to stretch it. I mean, they have almost a 2-second lead already over the rest of this pack. This is mind-blowing. And they're running 46.38. That's still a second and a half slower than the pace we've seen earlier in the race. Dustin Stallings running a 47.21. That is 2 seconds slower.
Yeah, looking back through the field from Dustin Stallings all the way back to Alex Rudolph, nobody's really wanting to go past 190. Everybody's hovering right at about 189, and it's just allowing these front 3 to just kind of check out. And Nathan Campbell might be the biggest beneficiary out of this, because he's keeping all that speed. He's able to hook up with these guys, but he's not having to use as much fuel to do so. Man, these guys, they may have paid a little bit too much attention to Duel 1.
Yeah, guys, you can go a little bit faster. We're just kidding. But this is an interesting thing. I know they're running around slower. That does save fuel. But a lot of these guys aren't tucked up like you were in the draft with another car pushing you. So the speeds, first of all, are lower. And there's not as much drafting going on right now. So and still burn a good bit of fuel just running a slower pace. So they do need to be somewhat tightened up, but they're probably all running about 50% throttle right now, maybe 75 at most. But the thing is, if you start to spread out from each other like this, the draft gets less and less, and you got to give it more gas. So this is where it gets weird. And 8 laps in the book, we started seeing racing in the first duel. 8 laps in the book here, we're starting to see people just slow down consistently. So this is really interesting strategy call, but these guys might have a few laps extra by the end.
And the big thing is that if you're trying to play the strategy where everybody can make it on fuel, which it looks like the most of the field is doing. If everybody can make it on fuel, that's not a strategy anymore. That's just the race. I mean, so you don't really gain an advantage if everybody can make it on fuel.
Cody McCauley right here turning the fastest lap at a 45.24 back here in 17th. So that's only 3 to 4 tenths off the pace we've seen early in this race, or early in the first race. So that they are picking the pace up a little bit back here, but still at the same time, it is just interesting. That just shows you how much all these guys learned. And look, now the pack has caught up to Chad Biesinger and them. They backed up. They put the air brake on. They're like, we need to go back.
Oh, looking back here, Cody McCall and Alex Rudolph, the teammates, they've decided to hook up on that outside lane and maybe try to get their way to the front here. I mean, they saved a little bit of fuel. I don't think it's 4 laps worth or however many they need, just running that bit slower for that handful of laps. But they are freight train in the field right now.
Yeah, you'd rather do this. You'd rather save fuel for a good bit. I'd say once you get to 10 to go, you can definitely open it up if you save fuel this first 30 laps. So opening it up too early will be a mistake, I think. But I think they're banking on everybody's going to get more races as this race goes on. So I think they're banking on getting behind a few people. And if everybody waits till the last second to go to make sure they're good on fuel, they don't want to be in the 17th position. That's really bad because they'd have to go by everybody. Right now, I think they're saying, we need to position ourselves a little bit higher up here and then save.
That'll tell you right there, watching it live, just how much everybody else is saving. The 62 and the 42 went by the entire field 10 mile an hour faster. It just made it look like they were all standing still.
Yeah, a lot of strategy being played. This is more of a chess game right now than a race, in my opinion. This is more, hey, show what you got. I'm telling you, Chad Biesinger, he needs to pull up high to the top of the wall instead of go high.
I've always thought, and I've expressed it a few times, that these plate tracks, it's just high-speed chess. This Duel 2 right here, it's a little more medium-speed chess. I mean, the move clock is not quite as strict for these guys at the moment.
Yeah, these guys, I think, look at Chad. He's like, go ahead, Casey.
Casey tried to follow him up, said, no, sir.
Yeah, what would be really funny is if they all went through the wall. I mean, that's the long way around, so you wouldn't do that in the same fuel. But still, it'd just be funny if like the leader was trying to let everybody by and he pulls up high and they're like, nope, we're staying behind you. And Chad would be like, go around.
He's just waving out the window, man, turning on the blinkers, saying, come on.
Man, this right here is really interesting. Look at this Curtis Preston back here racing. You also got Gonzo there in the 84. He's going to be dropping in behind champion Curtis Preston from last season in the Cup Series. And all these guys saving some good amount of fuel right now. Definitely trying to save that fuel.
I tell you, Zach, Chad was able to latch onto the back of his lead pack here after he went up high, and I switched to check him out for a little bit, and I could barely hear his car. He's saving a ton of fuel.
Yeah, these guys are in super conservative. I mean, the leader's running a 46.94. I mean, everybody's running completely out of the gas. Well, not out of gas, out of the gas.
Well, and you've also got to think about, Zach, that they are going slower and they're saving fuel, but part of the way to save fuel at a plate track is use the tow from the car that's going faster than you in front of you to help you carry a little bit more speed to use less throttle. If everyone's trying to save, is anybody really gaining that much of an advantage?
That's a great point. I mean, when everybody's saving and slowing down, you just have to keep lifting more and more and more and more and more. And at some point, those returning gains that you have are diminishing. So I think everybody's in a good spot still. If they all save, I think they'll all make it. But at some point, they will have to probably pick up the pace. I mean, it's inevitable at some point. It's going to happen. Right now, Cody McCauley and Alex Rudolph, they're up to second and third right now after starting 17th and 18th in this field. Also, junior J.R. Miller started 15th. He's up to 4. So you have had a few guys say, well, while everybody's running, quarter throttle, we're going to move ourselves up. And I think that's a good call. You don't want to be first, but if you're 5th on to 2nd, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good strategy, especially, Cody McCauley and Alex Rudolph that were at the tail end of the field. You're able to gain some free spots where nobody's really going to race you for them. You know what everybody's mentality is, and you burn a little bit more fuel than everybody else making that move. But once you get up there, whatever happens, you've got great track position now. Whether everybody continues to save or you get a caution and you have a restart, I mean, you don't have to worry about passing all these guys again.
Yep, that's what they call free money.
Everybody loves free money.
That's for sure. We'll take that any day with 25 to go here at the RSR Cup Series for duel number 2. So yeah, it's so funny how much this changed. Just Trevor Massotti literally changed the whole complex of how duel number 2 has played out. He's the Messiah.
Better be a trendsetter than a trend follower, I suppose.
Man, that is crazy. Like, it's literally shaped this whole entire race to a different, complete way. So that shows you drivers are paying attention to other drivers. You can learn from your competition.
Well, Zach, looking back through the field here, I noticed that Andrew Little in the 68 had a whole lot of rear end damage, and started flicking through all the cars to see where that might have come from. And it seems like the one of Michael Sheffield ended up getting into the back of Andrew Little, because Michael Sheffield has a good bit of nose damage on the front of that one car. And
that will hurt, the fuel mileage too on that car. That's just more drag. More throttle he has to do to stay in draft more. If he stays up close to a car, though, it shouldn't affect him too bad. But as soon as he gets any air on the nose, that's more fuel mileage.
I know he and Andrew Little now. Andrew Little, a little bit better situation. But they're going to be hoping for a caution to get that some of that damage fixed at least. Unfortunately, it's not going to get rid of all of it for Michael Sheffield. He's still going to have to deal with that throughout the rest of the race, even if he gets it fixed. But it's definitely going to be better than what he's dealing with right now.
And you got the 5 of Ryan Gazelle here in the 16th position right now, saving him some fuel. All these guys are saying there's a fuel shortage out here, and we want a surplus.
They're waiting for their Sunoco stimulus.
Yeah, I need that. Casey Coots right now, he's leading the field. What is he doing though, Brandon? That's my question. I mean, he's running a slower pace, but still, he's going to be burning more fuel out here out front.
And you have to hope that maybe there's a caution, but everybody's taking it so easy that there's not going to be one. I mean, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, I guess. I mean, I don't know. You don't want to lead, but if everybody's trying not to lead, eventually you're going to be not moving anymore. We're just going to be stopped on the backstretch.
It's like something forming in the back here, though. I believe that's Andrew Little, the 38 of James Courtney. Yeah. Starting to go forward a little bit. You got Randy Cornwell, Bob Fitzpatrick in the 3 back here. These guys are starting to form up a little bit of a group here.
Yeah, Michael Sheffield, Matthew Rush, Ryan Azell in that group as well, and they're making a good bit of headway. You might see some cars up here at the front once they start making a little bit closer to the front of the pack, decide to hop out in front of this and ride that train to the front.
Ooh, who's that? That's the 11 of Matthew Rush, I believe.
Yeah, the 84, Daniel Gonzalez, big check up there, just accordion effect on the inside lane that really happens when you get a lane strung out like this. Just didn't quite anticipate the checkup, and a little bit of contact with the 11.
Well, I was about to call the checkup out, but like I could see it coming. But look at this, Bob Fitzpatrick and already up to the lead. Oh, and Casey Coots is going to jump out to block it. Oh, that could have been detrimental.
Would not recommend that.
Yeah, especially for him, because he needs to save more fuel, in my opinion. And a lot of these guys, they might be going, based off my estimated laps, because in iRacing we have black boxes that have information, the relative, your timing and scoring, all that we can look at because we don't always have to where you can change your tires, amount of fuel. These guys, I don't want to say they're doing this wrong, but they might be looking at their estimated laps, and that can be misleading. You cannot base your fuel mileage off of that because that will show you 2 to 3 laps extra. And when you start getting down to the real end of the race, you're like, how am I short again?
Yeah, the fuel estimation number that it gives you only shows relative to your current pace. So at that current pace, it's like, yeah, I've got 3 laps, so you can go a little bit harder. But if you go full speed, that gap that you had is going to shrink very quickly, and you're going to find yourself in the negative with not enough time to save.
Yeah, all of us are amazed up here, and literally you're seeing people. Oh, the 52 Nathan Campbell, what a move! Yeah, Curtis Preston. These guys are starting to race, so I'm starting to think they think they're good, but I still think we need to save considerably.
I mean, some of these guys, Curtis Preston and Michael Sheffield. Certainly not Michael Sheffield with that nose damage leading this pack right now. He's going to be hurting for fuel. But any of these guys that are still behind, they're pushing a little bit harder, but they've still got that really high-speed draft now where they can carry a lot more speed with a lot less throttle, and they're going to be really saving fuel and really benefiting from this increase in the pace.
Now this is what if we start to see people run out now like later? They're going to be questioning, man, why did I go then? So look at Sheffield now up to the lead, and he's got that damage on those. I would not want to be leading with that, especially.
Well, you talked about guys running out later in the race. My worry is if everybody decides to try to stay out because they think they're good, somebody in the front runs out of fuel, that causes a massive problem.
Yes. And there's your fuel saving for a caution.
Yeah.
But if it's a green white checkered, you're not going to make it.
I think at that point you have to pit. You don't even worry about gambling. Free caution at the end of the race, splash and go, man, you're good.
I would almost say if you get a caution anyways, splash and go anyways, because you bank on then if you do have a green white checker to be.
Yeah, I mean, you get a free chance, and it's not like it's difficult to gain positions at a plate track. If you get a caution, fill it up. I mean, there's like, don't chance it when you get essentially a free opportunity to make sure you're good.
Well, Curtis Preston, past champion here, taking lead from the help of Ryan Bean. And the thing is that's making me think that these guys are not necessarily good is Cody McCauley, the guys who drove up to second and third, and Alex Rudolph, they're still dropping back and saving. So I wouldn't. The risk here to go this early is.
Yeah, I mean it kind of defeats the purpose of even trying to save to begin with if you're going to push the pace before you're in the good. And I like what Cody McCauley and Alex Rudolph are doing here. They made the charge up to the front, but I think they were banking on just hanging out there and saving fuel while everybody was taking it easy. Now that the race pace is picked up, they've said, okay, we don't want to push our stuff this far, burn up more fuel trying to keep up. Let's fall to the back, get this tow, and see what more we can save while we have this opportunity. And I'm hearing them really blip the throttle. I was hearing a couple cars clutching it, of all things, at a plate track. So these guys are saving a lot.
I've never in my life heard someone clutch a car at a plate track. That is very interesting. Yeah.
Well, Curtis Preston, he last season's champion, and I mean he knows a thing or two about racing to be the champion, and he was the one I saw doing it. So maybe he's got something up his sleeve that nobody else knows about. But ooh, big move out of Dustin Stallings.
That it was. And another thing is when you base yourself off your estimated laps number on iRacing in the black box, that's at the pace you're going and how much fuel you're burning at that time. When you start to speed back up, that number is going to drop considerably more.
Absolutely. You can save a little bit to be able to run full speed, but essentially when you start saving, you have to match that pace for the rest of the run to be able to hit that number. And it's one at a plate track really hard to do because you need to keep up with the draft. And if you have to go slow enough to make sure you're in the good, you could very well fall out of the draft, and then you've got to hope everybody in front of you runs out.
What a night at Daytona racing so far. We're becoming to 12 to go, so we'll get down to the nitty gritty here soon. But my thing is, Brandon, I'm gonna call it right now. I think some people are gonna run out, just thinking they've already got it.
If it goes green, people are gonna run out, absolutely. But at the pace, I mean, they're starting to pick it up now. I'm seeing some guys really start jostling here. Looking a little bit unsteady. We very well might get a caution. We get a handful more cars decide that it's go time and come up here and start battling side by side.
Very, very true there. Dustin Stallings up top.
3 wide now.
Yeah, for the Dustin Stallings dropping back in that top lane. Looks like he's going to be able to get back. Ooh, he was so close behind the car he was behind there. That was, whew.
That was another big ooh moment for me that you guys couldn't hear.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can hear all my ooh moments. I'm a big ooher and ahher.
If Robert's back here singing, I don't know what he's singing.
He's speaking a different language.
Yeah.
Man, they're starting to really race now, Brandon. I mean, times are still lower, 46 flat, but they are starting to race. And
Cody McCauley now charging back up to the front with Alex Rudolph. Ran a 45 last time by, where most everybody else was running in the 46 second bracket. So they're deciding to head back up toward the front here and start getting racy. And now, you know, we're just past 10 to go here. And it's go time. You've got what you got. There's not a lot of time left to save and still be able to charge back up. So we'll know very shortly how many guys were able to save and who just couldn't quite pull it off.
Well, I think Curtis Preston feels pretty confident since he's leading. I don't want to be in the lead. I really don't want to be in the lead if I'm Curtis Preston.
Maybe you realize that you can't make it, force the pace of the race to increase, force guys to say, oh man, we need to start racing. If these other guys think they can make it, then we can make it and make them race and hope that there's an incident.
That's a good actual strategy, actually. That's not a bad idea, my friend. Right on the front number here, Cody McCauley. He is in 10th position at the moment on the outside lane, directly behind that 80 or 90. Dustin Stallings here, so it's and it says driven by passion. Who needs to be driven by gas?
Yeah.
You need gasoline for this race.
Yeah, passion's great, but internal combustion engines don't run on hopes and dreams, my man.
That's for sure. Man, I tell you what, but like our friends from over the pond would say, we need some good old petrol.
And some liters of fuel.
How many liters you got, mate?
Oh, Jesus.
Liters now. When we start getting to the liters discussion, they got a lot of liters still.
I'm only seeing 1 liter right now, and that's Curtis Preston.
Oh, we got jokes up here. Well, I said Michael Sheffield was going to win, or I said he was going to watch out for it. He's in second, so I'm just saying,
Yeah, I mean, that nose damage is hurting him in the clean air, but he's been able to sit behind his teammate and keep up pace pretty well. Now, when they actually have to start pushing hard and keep the pace up to keep that inside lane going, I don't know how well it's going to work, but we will have to see. But right now, that outside lane is kind of struggling.
Well, look who's lurking in third, too. Ryan Bean. He just knows how to put himself in the right spot at plate races. He says he's nervous at plate races. Well, he needs to be nervous everywhere. He'd win everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the jitters and takes off pretty well, and it seems to turn out just fine, getting, you know, back-to-back wins in the plate races here for RSR. And man, if he comes out and wins next week, I'm gonna have to start putting money on that 25 every time we come to a restrictor plate track.
7 to go here, coming to 6 to go. Nobody's pitting. Nobody's pitting unless they run gas. So it's pretty much go till the end. And I'm telling you what, I think someone runs out of gas in the pack and we possibly have an incident.
That is going to be my biggest fear. Because when it sputters, I mean, you lose a little bit, but as soon as there's no more fuel and the car just doesn't have any more throttle, you drop like a rock. And we saw earlier just how much a little checkup on the inside lane affects people and almost caused a caution. Have that happen about 5th place with that many cars, you'll have a big wadded up mess of metal.
Here we are looking at the battle back here around the 10th position. You got Cody McCauley, Dustin Stallings, Randy Cornwell, multiple cars involved. The outside lane starting to come forward here as they are charging up this pack. With Daniel Gonzalez leading the way in the 84.
Sitting here watching Cody McCauley and Alex Rudolph, the next 2 cars in that top line. Cody McCauley, he's a bit on the aggressive side. Now, I'm sure he's kind of hoping that the 3rd lane, you know, maybe he can find a way to get that going. But right now, content on just trying to push. Maybe he decides to push these guys to the lead and have his teammate leapfrog him once they get clear of these 2 guys.
Yeah, we'll be coming to 4 to go this time. And I tell you what, I would love to see Daniel Gonzalez win this race. It'd be cool.
It'd be absolutely awesome.
If there's someone that deserves it, nothing against all the players. I like all you guys too, but that'd be cool to see Daniel win.
You know, normally we say that Craig Burns is the fan favorite, but I think right now anybody watching that follows the Evolution Racing Leagues is definitely rooting on that 84 right now, and he's sitting here in 4th place, and you know, while laps are winding down, he's got a real shot at this thing.
He really does. He really, really does, man. So let's see how he can put himself in position. He's got the help of Dustin Stallings, Cody McCauley in the outside lane. We're going to be coming to 3 to go. 3 laps. Man, this thing is flown by with all these guys running in half throttle.
And if anybody's going to run out, we're going to know here in the next, like, 2 laps. This could get very interesting.
The pace is still even slow. We're running 46.50, so I don't know if these guys are still concerned or what.
Now, imagine if nobody runs out until the white flag.
Oof. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's the white flag lap when people start to run out, personally.
And if they, Cody McCauley decided to make it 3 wide there. Alex Rudolph going to go ahead and follow him in there. They're going. And still, no! There it is.
Close up. There's the big one. Oh, man. And we have a wreck. And guess what? Green, white, checkered. These guys need a pit.
Oh, no.
And unfortunately, Daniel Gonzalez, I believe, was involved in that. But how bad is it? It's not terrible. It's not terrible.
No, it's not a lot of damage. And if everybody's going to go ahead and pit, I mean, try to get as much of that fixed as possible.
How bad is Cody McCauley? Not bad either. That's kind of bad on the left and front. Looks like we'll go back here on the Freak Fast replay to see our first caution or Nissan Central caution of the night. And McCauley trying to make something happen there in the middle lane, and he tried to split Daniel Gonzalez to the middle, and that hole closed up. And that's where you see this wreck happen. Michael Sheffield, a lot of guys hurt in this big time. Dustin Stallings, just a bunch of cars broken after that. Ryan Bean. Oh, no.
Looking at it, Zach, I think there's only about 4 cars that didn't get any damage out of that. Chad Biesinger is still in a pretty good spot. Adam Buzzia is still in a really good spot. Bob Fitzpatrick in the 3, really good after that. With all the rest of these guys probably going to be fixing damage, it looks like he might come out of this in the top 3 after this all cycles around.
Well, I think you're going to see everybody hit pit road. There's no way you stay out here. I just don't see you making it on fuel. Who is staying out?
Ryan Azelli I think he wants the lead lap.
He's not going to lead one, though, because the Curtis Press is ahead of him. So, his car is hurt, too. His car is badly hurt.
Oh, yeah, he's completely missing his nose.
Looks like Bob Fitzpatrick going to stay out here.
He'd been taking it easy the whole race. I think he feels like, he's probably clutching it right now and just saving a little bit extra. I think he feels like he can make it to the end.
Ooh. Tough to say. Tough to say. I think Macaulay, he just took a little splash. He kept going. He didn't fix any damage. He has rear end, front end, everything damage on that car. He's just going to try to get the best finish he can out of this.
Well, Curtis Preston didn't come out with the lead after that, but he's going to cycle around to third right behind Bob Fitzpatrick. So the two cleanest cars at the front of the field are going to be nose to tail, and that's going to bode very well. I got to give the edge to Curtis Preston just by virtue of being in the second position and being able to time when he decides he wants to jump out. It's really hard to defend. You'd think it'd be kind of easy in theory, just stay in front of the guy behind you. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and a lot of times you'll just wreck yourself trying to do it.
Well, we'll have to see how it all shakes out here. Does Ryan Ezel pit? I mean, I would think he has to with that damage. I mean, that car is hurt.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to come in here. There's no way he's gonna be able to keep pace at the front of the field. And
Patrick, though, he thinks he can make it.
I mean, if you decided to stay out that first time, you kind of have to commit at that point that, okay, I can make it. Otherwise, you're just giving up a whole lot of track position for no reason.
The only issue I worry about for Curtis Preston here is if Fitzpatrick stutters. Oh, is Fitzpatrick going to take the outside lane?
I don't know if I'd do that, honestly. I mean,
oh. This is going to be interesting. Nathan Campbell, he's got damage. Gonzo there in the 6th position. He's actually, or 5th position, he will be. He's pretty good, well off. Adam Buzzio's got a clean car.
His nose is clean. He's got a little bit of rear damage, but it's not going to hurt him as much. But yeah, the 23 of Chad Biesinger, he, other than Bob and Curtis, he's got the cleanest car. It's just spotless.
Wow. This is going to be interesting. I mean, Brandon, you've asked me most times, where would you want to be now?
I kind of want to be in Curtis Preston's shoes right now. I mean, Cody McCauley's not going to have the speed. He's going to be able to clear that outside line pretty easy and determine when he wants to make his race-winning move. And then he's just got to hope that he can outwit Bob and find that gap to put his car and have the speed to make the run complete and cross the line first. So I've got to say that I want to be in third right now. I think that's where you need to be.
Well, we'll see. We'll get the answer this time here as the pace car is going to take its left turn down the pit road with Bob Fitzpatrick leading the way. Oh, not a great restart for the 3 as he gets it going good through the gears there. Yeah, that 62 is hurt, guys. Oh, he's going to get to the bottom lane. Oh, no, come across the nose, and he's flipping 3 wide now with Gonzo side by side. Look at Bob Fitzpatrick. Hold on. Here comes the 52 of Nathan Campbell. This is going to be an interesting finish here between these guys.
Curtis Preston's kind of boxed in right here. Gonzo making a really good charge on the outside by himself, but I think he's just kind of going to get strung out here with these 3 cars lined up. Bob Fitzpatrick in a really good spot.
Fitzpatrick coming around turn 3 and 4. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race? Coming to the white flag. Here comes Curtis Preston. Here comes Nathan Campbell.
3 wide.
3 wide. Where do they go? White flag in the air, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. We have one final lap here, 3 wide at Daytona. What will we see? Daniel Gonzalez giving the push to Curtis Preston. Curtis Preston all the way to the bottom. They might touch. They all wreck. They're wrecking. Adam Buzzio. Where does Chad Biesinger? He was our pole
Chad Biesinger.
Does he get the run here? He's going to have the run coming out the back straight away. This is going to be a 1 versus 1 going down the back straight away. Here to go to 3. What is Chad Biesinger doing with the run? Curtis Preston trying to break that draft. Chad Biesinger is going to have a good run coming out of here because of how far back he is. Let's see what goes down here as they come out of 4 for the final time. The 23 of Chad Biesinger, I don't think he's going to have enough. And Curtis Preston, your Cup Series champion is going to win it. Wow. What a finish.
Oh man, I don't even have the words. That was, oh.
Guys, that was intense, and your winner tonight, Curtis Preston, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics, your race winner here at the RSR Cup Series.
Oh, I'm heartbroken for Chad Biesinger. He had a really good opportunity, was able to avoid that wreck, but still, I mean, to get around that and still have a realistic shot at getting that run and potentially getting the win, still a really good effort. I only lost one spot during the race, and looking like he's going to roll off fourth for Daytona next week. So good overall result.
That it was, man. That is a crazy, crazy finish there. But congrats to the 29 of Curtis Preston. What a finish for that 29. And we will be right back with you guys in one moment as he burns it down and celebrates here at Daytona International Speedway. And we'll get a talk in with Curtis Preston about his victory here tonight. All right, everybody, we are back here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with our race post-race celebration and interview with our race winner, Curtis Preston, and past season champion. So starting 2021 off right where he left off 2020. Let's see what his thoughts are on winning here tonight at the World Center Racing. Hey, Curtis, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Sure do. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing great, Curtis, man. Well, what an interesting race that was. We seen in duel number one that you guys could stretch the fuel to make it 40 laps by Trevor and GT making it that far. And then it kind of played out where duel two was just everybody was trying their best to save as much fuel as they possibly could. But I tell you what, man, you worked your way into a position that you needed to be. We had a green-white checker there. You came down, got the fuel, and was able to get yourself back out front to pull this victory off. How was the racing out there, and how weird was it trying to save that much fuel?
I was real tame early, man, and I hate riding around like that, pedaling it, but we kind of settled down back in the field there and was just saving, and then got the green light, said, all right, you're good to go. So, bam, we started racing, and we had enough fuel to make it there to the end. It's a shame me and Chef were going to have a good run there. I think me and him were going to race it out for the W there, but that caution came out and kind of shot that all to pieces.
Yeah, unfortunate there for you guys and the team, but you were able to start off 2021, Curtis, back right where you left 2020 off, man, and put yourself in victory lane here as last season's champion. So heading into this season, you know, what's the plan? You know, do you think you can go back to back? I mean, I'm sure that's the plan, but what's your thoughts on going into this 2021 season here at RSR?
Well, we're sure not going to lay down and give it to nobody. That's for sure. But yeah, it'll be, man, that's a long season, 36 races. A lot of things can happen in 36 races. Main thing is we just got to focus on getting into the chase. And once we can make that happen, then we can plan moving forward, man. But this is plate racing. It's Daytona. You know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of it. I'm looking forward to getting the season started. I'm not points racing here at Daytona. I'm racing for a checkered flag or put it on the hook. So for us, the season starts at week 2. So we'll see, man. I mean, like you saw tonight, it's stiff competition out here.
Oh, it definitely is, Curtis. Anything you feel like you picked up tonight in these dual races in the Clash that you could use going into next week here at Daytona? I mean, I know Daytona's pretty cut and dry sometimes, but you feel like there's anything you picked up here tonight?
A few things in the draft. The cars suck up real good. This is my first plate race since they kind of redid the draft package and stuff on the build. Got to figure out qualifying though, man. We haven't qualified very good at all. We didn't qualify good for the Clash, and we were like 10th or 11th or something like that for this duel. So we got to figure that part out.
Well, man, you'll definitely start on the front row next week. So you got the qualifying done in the race here tonight. So that's good for you there. That'll fix that all up. But we'll head next week to Daytona here and kick off your guys' season. So again, congrats on the victory here tonight in the duel number 2 for the RSR Cup Series. Anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate this thing, man?
Yeah, I got to thank Ord Nissan Central, Sheffield Graphics, ButtKicker, all the guys that help keep this thing rolling. Ryan Azell for putting on this thing, man. Michael Sheffield, he does a ton to help out with this league too. And you guys in the booth, man, appreciate what you do. Looking forward to watching this one tomorrow.
Well, thank you very much, Curtis. You have a great night, and we will catch you next Tuesday.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
Yep, you too, man. All right. That was Curtis Preston, your race winner here tonight, past season champion. He will start on the outside of the front row heading into next week. And what a race we had here. And I guess we'll go ahead and pull up our race results here to let you know where your favorite drivers will start next week heading into Daytona. So this will be the outside row for next week. Curtis Preston there bringing home your victory. Second will go to Chad Biesinger. Third is going to be Adam Buzzio. Fourth will be Ryan Ezel. Fifth there's Andrew Little. Randy Cornwell will finish in the 6th position. 7th will go to J.R. Miller. 8th will be Bob Fitzpatrick. 9th will go to James Courtrone. 10th will be Nathan Campbell. 11th, Casey Kuntz. 12th will go to Daniel Gonzalez. 13th, Cody McCauley. Ryan Bean after the Clash window will finish in the 14th position. 15th will go to Alex Rudolph. 16th, Dustin Stallings. 17th, Matthew Rush. 18th, Michael Sheffield. And that'll actually round out our field. So that is your race results here tonight from the Daytona International Speedway, the World Center Racing. Man, what a night of racing we had here. I'm Daytona'd by the end of this thing. So this has been an epic night. All crazy races themselves, each having a different storyline. Brandon, what do you thought about tonight?
Well, my thoughts are that my brain's looking like a lot of these cars after these races tonight, man. It's just Daytona wears you out. There's so much going on, so much different strategy. All these races to be broadcast tonight between ARC Evolution Series, the RSR Clash, then the Duels for the RSR Cup Series, man. It just everything that Daytona has to offer on the show right there, all condensed into tiny little heat races too, just up in the intensity. It was a lot of fun. I'm actually looking forward to the race next week, where it's a bit longer and guys are a little bit more calmed down, and we can kind of breathe a little bit. But it's been a blast, man.
That's for sure. We'll be happy to get back on our regular scheduling and stuff. So that'll be a blast. But tonight was also a blast. So thank you to the Evolution Racing League for help putting all this on here. And we were so happy to be able to bring it to everybody. And thank all the fans for tuning in. We had so many fans tuning in here tonight and giving us love and praise. And make sure if you didn't yet, hit that like, follow, or subscribe button there, or that thumbs up on YouTube also, and that bell button to get your notifications when Freaky Fast goes live, as we'll be live again tomorrow night here on Freaky Fast. So we got a lot in the store for you in 2021. It's been a great night, but we'll send it up to the boss man himself, Robert Moyer Jr., to close out our broadcast.
It's correct. Thank you. I'd like to second. Good job, guys, tonight. Thank you to all the fans out there on Facebook and YouTube. We had a great turnout, like Zach said, on both platforms, so we do much appreciate that. Man, it's been, and everybody just sticking around, you know, as we were jumping from server to server to server, and everybody sticking around and getting their coffee, going to our commercial breaks and things like that, and we do much appreciate it. But like Zach said, we will be live tomorrow night with Underdog Racing League. A little bit of a change. We're going to go to good old Darlington as we'll get to see Brandon Cawley out there tomorrow night, hopefully in the Freaky Fast truck number 2. What number do you run at that league?
Oh yeah, it's number 2.
Number 2. Okay, I wanted to make sure I was saying it right. All right, yes, as he'll be out there tomorrow, so make sure you come out and root him on, and all the rest of the Underdog Racing League drivers. But until then, we're gonna sign off. Everybody have a great night, and we'll catch you tomorrow night at Underdog Racing League. God bless everybody. Love you all. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.